everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Spine Chill. This is season 30!
30!
Finger guns. I'm one of your co-hosts, John Wolfe, here with another co-host, Gary the Hot Cross.
Hello?
And what was that?
No.
Let me go.
And 31-time recurring guest, Doug Running Man.
Hello? Hello? Is this thing on? Hello?
Wow. Welcome back, everybody. We took a week off because, we just weren't available last weekend. Well, Gary was, but Doug and I were busy. But we're back this week, and we've got a lot to talk about.
Did anything happen?
What? No?
Stuff happened in the world of ASIM?
That's crazy.
One of the main topics is going to be, we're going to be talking about Dead by Daylight's 7th anniversary stream. We got to cover the new chapter and all their announcements, and Texas Chainsaw Massacre's technical test.
Oh, yes, of course. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
same.
Me too.
What? Really?
We'll also be covering the other ASIMs briefly, and we might talk about LS Trials a little bit at the end if we have the motivation and time.
I would like to, because I'm really enjoying that game.
Yeah.
Of course you are, Gary.
I don't know what that means. What does that mean?
We'll talk about it later.
It's already tense. There's going to be drama today. Should we start with some good news?
Buttonheads. Yeah.
Home Sweet Home Online, Thursday, June 1st, 2023. I believe that's its release date. It's coming out.
All right.
So we're getting a new game. And hopefully, I was watching the trailer earlier. It looks... I'm very excited.
Yeah. I think the timing is really good because the technical test is going to kind of all be... People will be on the decline from the technical tests. And again, we'll talk about the game more later, but like the reaction has been overwhelmingly positive in the ASIM streamers and players. And then I don't think that they're going to be rushing back to DBD excited for a fresh, revitalized Dead by Daylight meta. So there will be people looking for something else to play. And the other ASIMs are kind of old news at this point. Like they're kind of doing what they're doing, which we'll talk about that, I'm sure, later on as well. Just kind of what I feel like is like for Home Sweet Home is going to have that opportunity to like rope some people in again. People are going to be excited to check it out. They'll be like, "Oh, this is a new."
I can't wait. Like last time we played it, I had so much fun, even though the game is quite difficult at times. Like I didn't mind. Like I just enjoyed it. It was just a fun environment to play.
Yeah. I just think it's a really good time because people are going to be coming off the Texas Chainsaw high. They're not going to be excited about dumping a ton of hours back into DVD probably because, again, we'll talk about the anniversary event. I mean, I do think that the chapter is going to be good, but I don't think it's going to be – I don't think that the anniversary chapter, is the chapter that DVD needed to, like, rope back the entire player base, like to get people genuinely excited.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in more detail. I think we have a similar mindset there.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Finally.
We'll agree on that.
I just want to love you again, Gary.
We'll just wait till we talk about
It's been tough without you, John. It's been tough without you. Things have broken down. We need you. You're the glue.
The glue.
Well, I'm here
I was
now.
going to say the same word, glue.
Oh, get out of my head,
Thank
best
God.
friend Doug.
Never.
See, John's back and we're like getting along again.
Yeah. And John
Isn't
hates
that
it.
nice?
Can you guys both stop talking?
I like it when you guys are fighting. It's good for content. Let's get
we'll talk about Texas Chainsaw soon, right?
We'll get to it.
Yeah. Anything else in the world of ASIM besides Home Sweet Home Online coming back on?
I mean, nothing huge. Evil Dead did their 1-year anniversary, and they did a double Spirit Point, double XP weekend, which was kind of unfortunate timing for them because the Texas Chainsaw test went out, and then like throughout the weekend, more and more people got keys. So I will say that Evil Dead's in a really good place right now. Like I've played a lot over the last few days, and the balance issues that we were complaining about during the last patch are like almost completely erased. Like it actually feels like a strong, I mean, it's an ASIM, so it's never going to be fully balanced, but like your match to match balance is like really good. There's a lot of people playing. The queues are instant on both sides, which is a really good sign, I think, for an ASIM's health. I don't really think the other thing is that Saber's been really good at like patching stuff. Like I know you guys, I complained a lot about how they had some issues in the game that persisted for like months. But even after the patch, they've already done like 2 updates since the major update.
Oh, that's
which
good.
is like just balance stuff and like
maybe they're adopting more of a prop night system of just do little things. Just fix it. Don't leave it for ages.
Yeah, that's how it feels. So again, like, I know that Evil Dead's not either of your favorite games, but Sino and I really enjoy playing it a lot. And I think that we all can agree that having another ASIM with a healthy player base is a good thing. So,
yeah, sure.
Ghostbusters has nothing going on right
now.
No,
nothing on Ghostbusters, nothing on Prop Night.
No,
They're just chugging along. I can't think of, I mean, last year's there. People have started to heavily stop giving a shit about that game.
That's so real. The other day, I think it was Friday, I decided I wanted to go live on last year because I streamed it for like 5-6 hours the day before, and it was really fun and I enjoyed myself a lot. And I tried to log in and play at like 8 a.m. Pacific on a Friday, and I literally couldn't find a lobby. I don't know what's going on because they had 200 plus players on Steam charts, and as of like right now, they have 400 players. So, I mean, people are still playing the game, but I don't know if it was like maybe a matchmaking issue or maybe it was people playing out of region. I don't know what the deal is, but I could not find a lobby. And that was that's a really bad sign.
That's a bad sign.
Yeah.
Does it have MMR?
No. I mean,
okay.
I fucking hope
I sure hope it does.
maybe that's what it is. I'm just too good. They couldn't find anybody to put against me.
Figure out like why it might have problems.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
But they did announce... Oh, sorry to cut back. I'm sorry to cut back. But they did last year did announce that they have some more minor... Because they did a little patch where they like balance and stuff. They said they have some minor stuff coming, but they said that Season 2 with the new Fiend should be in the next couple months. So they are like actively working on new content that we haven't seen before. Because basically what last year is right now is just a reboot of the old last year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's exciting then. Maybe that'll...
That's good that they're changing the game from the state that it failed in. That's a good
maybe when it comes back as well, it'll have some balance changes to kind of adjust the situation because it...
To be fair, I will mention this, that the state that it's in now, which is where it ultimately failed in, was not the state the game failed. The game had failed so hard that by the time they put this content out, it's kind of like the anomaly in VHS effect, right?
Oh,
no one gives a shit anymore. Like maybe it's maybe he's a great monster, maybe the map is cool. No one cares anymore. And that's where last year was. Like by the time they got the blood web and the talent tree and like the cosmetics rolling, like everybody had already given up on the game. Yeah. So I mean, your statement was accurate. It was the state it was in when it failed, but it had failed so miserably prior to that like most people didn't get a chance to see the
I would argue it failed on launch day, being a Discord exclusive.
It failed so many times. Like they really did the VHS thing before the VHS did the VHS.
They were the
thing,
trendsetter.
Right?
VHS when they were researching how do we launch this game, they were watching last year and went, that's how we launch it, as close to that as possible.
Yeah. We just fumble at every checkpoint. Let's do it.
Okay. Well, time to talk about Dead by Daylight?
Yeah, let's get it over with.
Oh,
come on,
John. Owie, John. Owie.
So there was the 7th anniversary broadcast. John, you've both watched it?
No,
I watched it a few hours ago because I just got back in town yesterday.
You're away, and Doug hasn't watched it. Hashtag into the fog, right, Doug?
Hashtag into the fog, bro. To be fair, though, like, I have a Twitch chat to tell me everything that happened, right? And they're going to talk about it anyways. So
right. And you have me. I have a list of the order of announcements with timestamps if wanted.
Yeah. No. For me, it was like once it was passed, like I could go back and watch a VOD.
Well, some of this might be news to you. You might be like, "Oh, I didn't even realize that was a thing."
That's pretty likely. So let's go ahead. I'll let you take it away.
Okay.
Tell me what I missed.
Well, I'll just go through it bit by bit, and we can like talk about it in more detail if we want to or not. So there's going to be a return to regular live streams. Ask Me Anythings. That's one of the things they're going to be bringing back, which I think is I'm pretty happy about that.
Actual live streams, not pre-recorded broadcasts.
I hope so. That's how it was implied. It seemed like they were going to be going back to how they used to be on YouTube.
Interesting. I hope they don't regret that, because if we know the Dead by Daylight community, they're going to be annoying as shit.
They might regret it.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to sit in chat and you're going to see people being like, "Shirtless Felix when?"
They already got Shirtless Felix.
No, I know we have a lot. I know we have a lot to cover, but can I bring something up about the DBD player base and like the idea that, because John, what you said just kind of triggered this thought in my head.
Always.
the fuck is wrong with ASIM people, dude? Like, how come every time an ASIM has any sort of news at all, it's just like the end of the world? Like, the whole idea that like whenever a new ASIM comes out, is this the one that's going to kill DBD? Like, I don't know about you guys. Do battle royales do that? When Warzone came out, were they like, is this finally the Fortnite killer? Because I never got that vibe at all. I never got this vibe.
Yeah.
It's like it's such a weird. It's like all these people that definitely play DBD 60 hours a week that also are rooting for it to fail, but also don't think anything can kill it. It's just such a weird community. Like you said, the annoying and shit thing. Like, I don't think the other communities are like that. I do have
a theory about that, and I think it could be to do with the fact that there's this killer side and this survivor side, and especially on Twitch and like YouTube, there's these DBD communities that some are quite toxic, some are very wholesome. You know, there's these weird camps that get built up, and then there's these very bitter ones that really, really hate one side or the other, and they build a brand around it, and that entire community is built around a level of hatred. And eventually, when they don't have anyone else to hate at the time, they hate Dead by Daylight itself. So they're kind of trapped by it. They can't. They're addicted. I think there's a level of gaming addiction that comes with DBD to an extent. You know, it's a grindcore game. People spend a lot of time into it, so they're very eager for something to free them.
I think the reason that ASIM is like that is more the fact that DBD is the only one that's broken into the mainstream, really, and that it's seen as having like kind of a monopoly on the genre because it is more of a niche thing. Yeah. So like for battle royales, for example, like Fortnite's the biggest one, but Apex Legends is huge, you know. Warzone is huge. And then there's even more niche ones like Hunt Showdown, which, you know, have like 20,000 players, right? So like there's tons of competition there, but it feels like in ASIM, DBD's the only one that's standing head and shoulders above all the rest. So that's what I would attribute the, you know, is this the DBD killer discourse
but there's an eagerness to it. Like, it's not just like people being like, is this one going to like topple DBD? There's like people actively wanting to. I mean, we saw with VHS, there was some very proficient DBD streamers that were all, they jumped ship to join the weird VHS cabal because they couldn't play both of them. And they made a big song and dance about it before slowly coming back to be like, I was wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, everybody does the walk of shame back to DBD.
None of them said they were wrong, but they clearly came back.
They just
hope that
back in
forgets.
the DVD directory. Yeah. Just pop back in the directory. Like,
they act like nothing happened.
Unlisted those just YouTube videos.
Yeah, I'm streaming DVD. So what? I've always streamed DVD. I've always.
Although I can definitely think of one person that I had a lot of respect for in that manner. That was like, yeah, I got to pay bills, and VHS is not going to do that, so I'm back on DVD. Like they were very real about how they felt. Like they were like, I do enjoy DVD. I always have. I was ready to play something else, but there's not something else that's ready for me now, so I'm back on DVD, and I respect that mindset. So
right,
I can see that.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah, ASIM people are the most annoying people, though. I feel like it's just.
Have you met the Resident Evil people? A lot of them are in DBD now, so.
I mean, yeah, I was gonna say Resident Evil's an ASIM now. Have you ever played DBD? Like 4 p.m. on a Friday, all you're gonna see is Resident Evil characters.
No, it's true.
Anyways,
but yeah, so live streams, ask me anythings.
Great.
Thumbs up.
I'm glad that they're doing that. And like I said, I made a snarky comment about it, but I hope they don't regret it. I hope that the incessant, annoying DVD player base doesn't kill it for us again.
Maybe they should do it on YouTube or something again, because maybe it'll be quieter over there.
Maybe if they do, maybe they do. Yeah. Oh God, don't get me started. Maybe if they ban the phrases balance, killer, and survivor from chat, that would help out the quality of the live stream a lot, right?
Yeah, that was a good point.
Survivor sided.
Survivor. And then on top of that, we've got a new roadmap. There's going to be 2 survivor-only chapters, one of which we'll talk about towards the end. But 2 survivor-only chapters, 4 new killers, and new chapters are going to be original, and then there's 2 licensed killers coming. So I think the next one after this current one is going to be licensed by the looks of things.
And they say licensed with a big L.
Big L, which could be them. I don't know. Is that overcompensating, do you think?
I think one of them has to be Alien. That's what I think.
I don't.
But I don't either.
I think if it was Alien, it'd have been this one. It'd have been for the anniversary.
I think. Well, we talk about the new killer in a second, but I think they wanted to open up the genre with an original killer.
Maybe, but then, I suppose maybe they might do it. Maybe you might. I just can't see Alien happening. I don't know how.
I don't know. I mean, it might not happen.
Okay, so my thoughts are two thoughts. So this is going to be targeting into like more like around the Halloween season, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I can see the license being something more like conventional horror, maybe Candyman, maybe a Friday the 13th, maybe something conventional. Or we've all kind of passed around the idea that Stranger Things is almost surely going to end up popping its head back up at some point, right?
Right.
Stranger Things is likely going to drop in the last half of 2023. So I think maybe a Stranger Things chapter, maybe bring in a Vecna, maybe bring in some hype for the new season of Stranger Things. I mean, that could be a thing.
Right.
I could see that happening. I also think, still think we might get another Silent Hill chapter.
I would love that.
Yeah, I think we'll get something because it just makes sense with them working with Konami that they're able to have that relationship.
Sorry about that. Is the new game coming out anytime? Is it coming out this year? Like when is it like targeted?
No idea. I don't think they've given us a date, have they?
Silent Hill 2 remake is coming out this year, or it was supposed to. I don't know when Silent Hill Forte is coming out, or F, or whatever it's called. I don't think they've had a revealed release date for that yet.
Yeah, they haven't said anything about that release date. If they have, I've missed it.
Yeah, because I wonder, you'd wonder, fall 2023 is what the remake looks like it's going to be. Because I'd wonder if they were going to do Silent Hill, I feel like, and again, I don't know a whole lot about how this stuff works, but like, I feel like if they're working directly with Konami, then negotiating the license should be like a real quick and easy thing.
That's what I mean.
Like, working together, right? So I wonder why they would choose not to do Silent Hill for the anniversary chapter.
It could be they're still building it. It depends when the relationship was made, and obviously they've got all these killers like in the bank, so they have to.
Yeah. Also, not to discount John's theory that maybe they were opening up the futuristic kind of space genre up more so that aliens could come in next. Like, I don't know.
I was just thinking, so it would make more sense when they drop it. Because if I agree that if they dropped Alien like right now, it'd be like, well, this doesn't really fit. But maybe if they kind of set the stage first.
I think the thing I'd be the most excited about, weirdly, if they did Alien. Sorry to just talk about this a bit too much. But I really would like the Nostromo map.
Yeah,
I think like as much Ripley'd be cool, and a Xenomorph running around would be cool, but the Nostromo would be really cool.
Yeah,
but at the same
that
time,
would be so awesome.
Oh, we'll talk about the map in a bit. Anyway, moving on from that. There's described the event's evolution, so we're going to get some smaller events in the year as well. So more little things going on, which we'll talk more about the events. They go into a little bit more detail about that later on in the broadcast, but smaller events sounds good. Like it's a small thing, but it sounds exciting. More blood points, more weird things going on, hopefully. And then they announced the new chapter, End Transmission, which the PTB went live a few days after. Obviously, they moved the anniversary broadcast forward because of all the leaks that were going on. So it was a bit weird seeing it being like, you can play it now. And it was like, no, you can't.
Yeah. Can we talk about the DBD leaks a little bit? Because it got
leaked into high heaven. I'm so lucky that I've muted like everybody.
Yeah.
Because I had no idea what was coming out. Like when I was hanging out with Masha at the time, I was like, is this true? Because she'd seen all the leaks. So.
Did you guys see that there's already Texas Chainsaw Massacre leaks? Like I know we're on the DVD subject, but like they're leaking, and there's already hackers too.
Yes, I've seen people have hacked. People
have hacked content. People have hacked unreleased content from the TCM technical test.
Oh, I've seen that.
Yeah,
I've seen that. Yeah,
that's the gaming environment we live in now. Like leaks are going to be an every chapter thing in perpetuity.
But like with
so frustrating.
With the anniversary event though, it was so like wild because apparently they had the trailers, they had everything.
Yeah, like, I feel like if I remember correctly, because I remember I was like offline for 4 days, but I was being fed information that like the leaks were like hella internal or like media leaks. Like they got leaked from like media. It wasn't like people out there hacker manzing on their PCs. It was like
weird though because there's no money in it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't think.
Gary, there's also no money in getting a 4K, but people sure act like there is. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, like if someone's working for behavior, and why would you? What benefit would there be to leak it to the general population? The same with working at like IGN or something. Why would you? Hey, Brian, here's a bunch of DVD stuff you can go put online. Yeah. Like, why?
It gives like buying high school with beer energy, right? Yeah, like, look how cool I am, bro. I got you hooked up.
Like, it's really lame.
Some Milwaukee's best, bro. Yeah.
But yeah, so that happened. But we've got a new chapter, End Transmission, which the PTB There's one thing before we talk about the killer that I'd like to talk about, which has been like overlooked, I think. Like, no one's really talking about this as much as I think they should be. But I think it's maybe the best thing in the PTB. Deja Vu got a buff. Of all the perks, yeah, John. You see, you don't know John, do you? You haven't got a clue.
No, I don't, because I have not played the PTB. I haven't even seen gameplay footage of the PTB. I've been with my head in the sand. I've only seen the anniversary stream.
So obviously, we're all aware that the 3-gen meta is Skull Merchant. Doug looks very disappointed for those listening to the audio version. He looks upset that I've brought this up.
His head is in his hands.
The 3-gen meta has been a bit of a problem recently, and Behaviour have come up with a solution for the time being until they can come up with a more permanent fix. And it is a buff to Deja Vu. The auras of 3 generators in closest proximity to each other are revealed to you both at the start of the trial and each time a generator is completed. That's now permanent. That's like it doesn't go away.
Oh, so you just permanently see?
You can just see the 3
closest generators.
Yeah, you can just always see them.
Wow.
And when you finish a generator, you just see the new 3-gen, and it has and you have a 6% increase to generator repair speed on all highlighted gens.
Gary, if this was a base game mechanic that didn't require a fucking perk, then I would agree with you that it was a huge W and it was a really great thing. And it was, I think that the reason I put my hand in my face is because, like, to say that's like the biggest thing that happened in the chapter. No.
I think no one's going to run it
because good players aren't going to run it. You are. I just said good players aren't going to run it. So obviously, solo Q Andes like ourselves are going to run it. And that's fine. But like again, this has been like
Swifts don't need it. Yeah,
throughout the entirety of Dead by Daylight.
The 5 to 10% of players that do Swifts, great, they're fine. But the high percentage of 60% of players who are solo queuers, this is a huge change.
It's not going to be enough. One person's knowing where the 3-gen isn't going to be.
I don't think it'll be one person. I think we're going to see 2 to 3 people running this.
You will not. Absolutely will not see an information perk be ran like that on Survivor. They watch Twitch streams, Gary. They don't want to run information perks. I will be willing to bet that when this patch goes live, I will struggle to see more than 3 to 4 people in an entire 8-hour stream running Deja Vu. It's not going to get ran. Also, further, this is continuing an age-old issue at DBD, which is we've got a really bad design flaw in our game. We'll release a perk for it.
Right.
Why do I need to run Deja Vu? Deja Vu is not a fun perk, Gary. Deja Vu is boring. It's useful, but it's boring. I don't want to have to run that shit. Let me run fun perks.
I am not saying it's the most fun solution or the perfect solution, but it is a solution to a very boring problem that is in the game at the moment.
Deja Vu is a decisive strike of 3-gen perks. It won't get ran, and when it does, it won't be that effective.
I think it will get run. 6%. I'm going to be taking that with Prove Thyself, and I'm going to just destroy generators.
I think it will. I think running it in solo queue, like you say, Gary, may help your individual game, but I'm not expecting the because I might run it. I'm not sure yet, but I don't expect the overall player base to adopt it. And I do also agree that the perk as a band-aid solution is a troubling trend, and we've seen it ever since they introduced.
Yes, it's not ideal, but they did say that this is only a band-aid. They do plan on fixing the 3-gen problem in another way.
That's good.
But I do see this as it's better than just ignoring the 3-gen problem. Because if you hate 3-gens, you can just bring Deja Vu. There you go.
Yeah, and I'm willing now to shed the curmudgeon skin and be 100% on board with you, Gary. I agree to if they had released it without saying anything.
I thought you came real angry at me. I was like, whoa, I didn't make Deja Vu buffed.
Yeah, you just said a ridiculous thing. But no,
I just think it's a very exciting thing that's they're addressing a problem. Anyway, carry on, Doug.
Yeah, very exciting. I'm erupting at the seams. I'm with excitement. But I do think that what you said, the fact that they were like, hey, we know this is an actual problem in the game. We're working on fixing it. But for now, here's a perk to help. That is a really good trend.
That's what I'm happy about. That's
not a thing they would have done in the past. Okay.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's not like anybody was running Deja Vu before, right?
Yeah.
So this is just
Gary probably was
an option. I do.
I like Deja Vu. It's a good perk.
I do prefer them buffing a perk that's not ran rather than creating a new perk like they did with Shattered Hope, which like no one's gonna fucking run that now. Nobody did when it came out. Nobody ran it when it came out. When boons were like a really big problem with the game and
that's because boons weren't actually a problem.
No, they weren't.
Boons were copium, man. It's like I lost because of the boon. No, you lost because you're bad at the video game. Because RNG was
you couldn't get the down.
If you were so sure it was the boons, why aren't you running Shattered Hope, right? Yeah. Well, I need my 4 slowdown so I can kick gens.
I'm not gonna run Shattered. That takes up a perk slot. Well, I guess you dug your own grave there. Sorry.
But yeah, Deja Vu. That's something. But then there's a new killer, the Singularity. So there's a little rundown of what they do in terms of their power, and then we'll talk about their perks. So the Singularity is a AI thing which has picked up some genetic body and now it's running around. And it can shoot biopods. It has 8 of them that it can put around the map where it can go into like a little, it shoots its little arm and leaves a biopod, which is basically an organic camera. So the killer can look through them and surveillance the environment through. They can jump between the cameras, which can get a little bit difficult to keep track of when you're doing it, but like you can have these cameras, and if you see a survivor and you look at them long enough, you can connect them with a slipstream, which is like a little egg thing that goes on their back, when the Singularity is in chase with them and they shoot at the survivor when they have a slipstream on them, they can teleport behind them, getting quite close, and then they enter overclock mode, where they are immune to pallet stuns and can break pallets and doors quicker. They can vault quicker. So it's its way of closing the gap. The survivors, to combat this, can collect EMPs that 3D print around the environment infinitely. There's infinite of those, and they have an area effect where once they pulsate, you can disable the biopods and eliminate any slipstreams that are on you. So a survivor can do it to you if you're in a chase, for example, and help you out. It's a bit. But what do you think? How does that describe, John? That's your first hearing of it.
Yeah, so like I said, I only saw the anniversary stream a couple hours ago. I haven't been spoiled anything else. I haven't seen gameplay, and they didn't really talk about how the power works. In detail like that. That sounds very Skull Merchant-y to me. Is that a common?
No, it's definitely not.
It's okay, so it's different in motion.
In my opinion, it's not at all. Because again, you're not setting slipstreams and pods or whatever they're called. Gary knows all the terminology. You're not setting biopods and slipstreams up to watch gens. It's a chase power.
Okay.
It's good in chase. And so your power is minimally effective if the team is very coordinated with EMPs, which we know most teams won't be. And it actually, I didn't get a chance to play Singularity because the queues were obscene and I was just trying to get games in. But playing against Singularity feels very exciting, very fun, very it's a little overwhelming because you get the pod on your back and you're like, oh my God, you're like, you have genuine fear on that. You need to get rid of it or you need to think about what you're going to do with it, because if they get in chase with you and you have it, like Gary said, if they teleport to you, the slipstream to you, at that point they have built-in Spirit Fury. They have they have fast vaults. They have faster movement speed. You're in trouble. You're in big trouble. So it's one of those power. It's a power you can't ignore. It's similar to I'm not obviously not in practice, but a Ghostface stock or a Myers stock. If you ignore it, you're gonna go down real fast. You have to be constantly paying attention to the power. And so I think it's kind of, again, I was a little let down by the fact that it was an original chapter. And I do think it's cool that, they did the vibe of it is cool. I like the space vibe. I like the way the new map looks. I like the way that the character plays. But I am very excited for the direction that the design of the killer is going, because it kind of seems like it answers our problems. It's going to be a killer that is going to focus more. It's not a 3-gen killer, right? I mean, do you agree with me, Gary? It's not a 3-gen.
Yes, my initial thought was it was a 3-gen killer. I was like, oh, I can put cameras at generators. I don't like this, but the EMPs do counter that as a playstyle altogether.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, if it is a 3-gen killer, it's the weakest 3-gen killer of all the new killers.
Perfect. That's because that was just based on what you were saying. That was my initial vibe. Yeah,
my initial thought was, oh no, it's a 3-gen killer, but it doesn't play like that because it's so weak to play like that.
Okay, good. It
is quite exciting to be in chase with it as well. I played against the bots a little bit. That was very difficult because the bots are way too good. They just know exactly how to break line of sight, so you can't slipstream anything.
Right.
But my issues with the killer is I think it's a bit of a deflating killer. You remember, John, you played a little bit of Resident Evil Resistance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember playing Mastermind and like how frustrated you got, and then you never played it again because your cameras kept getting hacked and you couldn't do anything?
Yeah, I mean, I played like maybe 20 matches of Mastermind. Yeah.
It feels a bit like that sometimes. I think it's gonna be a very rewarding killer for some people who are gonna get really good at it and be very, they're gonna be a Singularity main. But I think casual players aren't gonna be that interested in playing it because, as Doug says, I don't think this is the winning chapter they needed. It's not a Wesker. It's like it's so far from that. When I've played it, when I play against it, I feel quite bad for it most of the time because I can tell it's deflating. When you EMP, when one of my teammates runs over and EMPs when they're in the middle of a chase with me and trying to get a good angle to slipstream me, I'm like, oh, that's them ruined. Because outside of it, if you're not slipstreamed, that is an M1 killer. It's weaker than Legion.
Yep, agreed. And the skill floor is like really high. Like it's not an easy killer to play for a casual player or for a bad player. It's like, I think one of the things that's good about Wesker is the skill floor is so low. Like you can feel good about playing Wesker pretty fast. You play him a little bit, right? You get a handle on his power, his very simple power. He has a lot like going for him outside of his chase power too, right? Like he has the bigger tear radius. He has the infection.
Well, his power has multiple uses. Like it just gives you map presence as well as you can use it in chase. You can get over vaults and stuff whereas the Singularity has one purpose of his power.
Yeah. And again, the skill floor on that is really high. The skill ceiling is going to be massive. Like there are people, educated, strong killer players out there in the DBD Twitterverse that are saying this guy's going to be a top tier killer. Like probably in the right hands, they're going to be like in that Blight Nurse conversation. Like they probably won't be better than Blight and Nurse, but they'll be in the conversation. Like the potential is massive. But then again, a bad Blight is still a good killer, right?
Yeah. Well, I remember you did an experiment where you because Doug, I remember you were playing it and you were like, I'm not even going to try and hit people with my bouncing. I'm just going to use that to get around and M1 people. And you did so well. You were still able to do well with it.
You talking about Blight?
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Just using the power as a map control power, he's still better than 90% of the roster, right? So a bad Blight is still a good killer. A bad Singularity is going to just be.
It's gonna be like when you go up against a really bad trapper that keeps stepping in his own trap.
Yeah, and then again, it's with Blight. It's kind of like your game is your game to play. Like if you're strong on Blight, there's really not anything they can do to make you slow down. But with Singularity, great teams are gonna shut that killer down completely. And like Gary said, you're just gonna be like defeated. Like what do I even do? It's like when you play Trapper against a really strong 4-man.
Yeah, and you just every time you put a trap down, you hear it getting snapped right behind you. Like, I'm in the middle of a chase.
Your power just becomes useless. Yeah.
And a gen pops, you're like, what is going on?
That Singularity is gonna. So Singularity's like ceiling is really high, way higher than other frustrating killers like Trapper. But his floor, it's also really.
I think he'll be rare.
Right.
I suspect maybe even rarer than the twins. It's going to be close. I think they'll be very rare, both of them. But I just think the twins is easier to understand than. I think a casual player will have more success picking up twins than they will the Singularity.
I'm frustrated because I want to argue with you, but I think you're right. Honestly, the more I think about it, like it's got the same concept, right?
I could feel you were going to argue, and I was like, how's he going to handle this?
No, I'm not going to angle it because I use logic, Gary. And the twins are, again, they're a strong killer if you're good with twins. But if you suck with twins, you just get 4-outed for free. She's so bad if you're not strong at the micro game. So yeah, I can definitely see her in that. But he's cooler than twins. And when it comes to
cosmetically, is much better. The more he's interesting.
Great.
I like the voice lines are a bit weird sometimes, but generally I like it. Like I like the design of it. I will say, it'd be a really cool cosmetic for the Skull Merchant. That's when I first saw it, I was like, is that a Skull Merchant cosmetic? It's got a similar vibe.
I've definitely heard people talk about this is the chapter we should have gotten for Skull Merchant. Like this is what the game would have used better. Yeah. This is kind of like what people when they saw the teaser, this is what they envisioned, and I can see that perspective for sure.
But killer aside, it is coming with 3 new perks. and I think they're all quite interesting. And then we'll talk about Survivor.
I haven't gotten to check them out yet, so I'll be reading along with you.
Okay, so the first one, Genetic Limits. Okay. Whenever a survivor finishes a healing action, they suffer from the exhausted status effect for 32 seconds.
Wow.
What do you think about that?
I think that exhaustion, that perk would have been great in the Dead Hard meta, but I don't think it's all that great now.
I think it will have a place in DBD at the moment because like there is like anti-healing builds, and I think you might be able to, you know when you go up against someone and they're healing, they get that last second heal and then they sprint burst away. You're like, I think it's to try and stop that. Like it's a counter to that kind of environment. I can understand using it.
Like I can see the concept of it. Oh, go ahead, John.
I can't see myself using it.
I won't. But
yeah.
I can see what Behavior was going for. Like they went and they nerfed healing. They made it so healing is more teammate dependent now. You can't just rely on self heals and med kits. And so they're saying, okay, we make it so people have to use teamwork to heal, and then we use perks that like hurt you for healing your teammates. Right? I mean, I get the concept, but I just don't. I think that like there's just too well established of a strong perk meta for people to really get value out of that. Like I just can't see a killer main running that when they could be running slowdown, or they could be running better chase perks.
I think the only killer I could see that playing that is Condemn Sadako.
Yeah,
but outside of that, I can't see anyone with it.
I know it's got a longer exhausted status effect, but I just feel like Fearmonger is stronger.
Yeah, it's a better
than this. Like pretty much point blank. And I can't see myself. If I wanted to exhaust survivors, I would run that.
But I do think it's interesting. As Doug says, like it's like the teamwork healing element. There's a perk that's integrated into it. I think it's interesting. Then there's Forced Hesitation. Whenever a survivor is put into the dying state by any means, all other survivors within 16 meters of them suffer from a 15% hindered status effect for 10 seconds. What do you think about that?
Okay. And it's got a cooldown, right?
I can have a quick look. I don't remember there being one though. I don't think it does.
I don't think it's got a cooldown.
No.
Oh, I'm looking at wrong information then, I guess. Okay, so when you down a survivor, all of the survivors within 16 meters, which is pretty big, pretty small. That's pretty small.
That's pretty big.
So this is going to be a perk that is going to be played against flashlights, I think.
Yes.
I think it's an anti-flashlight perk.
Which I kind of don't like that idea of it being an anti-flashlight perk, because that's one of the few interactions that's like still in the game. And I feel like there's enough tools against it. But I mean, I guess if you're really anti-flashlight, you're going to run Lightborn, right? So
yeah. Lightborn, Franklin's, and Infectious Fright are all. Infectious Fright has a bigger radius, so automatically you get information.
I mean, I could see this being run by some plagues. You get it down, slow down some people around it. Like I could see it working with some other killers in fun ways. I know what you mean. Like it does feel like an anti-flashlight thing, but I think other killers might be able to use it in a fun way.
Like to chain downs. Yeah, because you could combo it.
I could see a bubble using it.
Yeah, like you could combo this with Infectious Fright. Like if you're playing like, I don't know, Blight or Huntress or somebody that can get quick downs like that, to be like, you down somebody and then you hear a scream and they're like, they're hindered for 15%, and you immediately go for the chase, right? If they're close enough. So actually thinking about it that way, it's kind of a cool chase perk.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first thing I thought of when I read it, was this will pair really good with Infectious. Because then if they're close, you should be able to judge.
I think Onis will like it. I think Onis will enjoy it.
Oh, Oni. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Agreed.
And then finally, there is the perk. This is probably my least favorite, just because it's quite convoluted in my opinion. Machine Learning. While Machine Learning is active, the next generator you damage becomes compromised, highlighting its aura to you in yellow until it's completed. Upon its completion, you are granted the following effects for 30 seconds, after which Machine Learning deactivates. Undetectable stats effect, and you get a 7% haste stats effect.
Okay, so it's Trail of Torment, but with haste?
If they finish the gen,
if they finish the gen,
you get a 30-second buff.
Yeah.
So this is a perk that you're gonna run if you're maybe playing like with little to no slowdown, and you're really interested in like getting quick downs, right? You kick the gen, knowing that they're just gonna come back and complete it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I could see that.
Wow, so
I don't think I'd use it. But...
30 seconds of 7% haste, though.
It's a long time.
That's not insignificant. I guess the idea would be like an ideal situation, like you would like kick a gen, like you said, that that they're gonna complete, and then like you're about to pop tier 3 with Myers or something.
Oh, that's
true. You pop it, they pop the gen, you get 7% haste for 30 seconds while you're in a chase, you get it down. You got Infectious Fright, Force Hesitation, you go and get another down.
Or No-Ed activates the final gen. No, yeah. More haste.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that would be what? 11% haste? What?
Is it 4% with No-Ed?
I think it's 4, yeah.
Doug?
That was more. Let me look
Is
it
it 5%? I feel
like it's
I think it's 2, 3, 4, but I might be wrong.
I thought it was 4%. I thought you were right, John, but now Doug's it might be 5. I don't think it's more than that though, surely, or else that's insane.
I mean, if you want to run machine learning and no one escapes death together, I mean, I feel like 11% haste at the end is that's not out of the question.
It's actually 8, or it's actually 5%. Sorry,
it is 5. Oh, fair enough.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So 12% haste then.
Yeah.
Did you guys know that the cooldowns on successful and missed attacks are decreased by 8% with that perk? I didn't even know that.
No, I didn't know that either.
I've always focused on the movement speed, which is 5%.
Yeah. Wait, on No-Ed?
Yeah.
Did they change that? That doesn't feel like it used to be doing that.
What?
Was that like a buff that we missed after they like nerfed it?
Oh wait, hold on. I'm not reading the current one. You're right. It is 4% now.
Okay. You're looking at old No-Ed.
I looked at old No-Ed. That's
okay. Yeah. No, it doesn't make it clear on
old No-Ed had like built-in.
It had like
it
built-in
unrelenting.
Stibiffle, yeah, like unrelenting.
Yeah. I was gonna say, bloody hell, I've never even noticed that. My issue with this perk is I think it's a bit messy. I don't like the new phrase of compromise gen. Like just ugh.
Yeah, we don't need a new keyword introduced in the DBD. There's too many.
Just feels a little bit messy to me. But like I think it's a fun idea. I love the undetectable part of it. That's moving a bit faster, undetectable. Because I've been playing a lot of Huntress with the wooden fox toy, and that's that's a blast. So anything that makes the killers undetectable, like I like Tinkerers, all that stuff that jump scares you, I'm pro.
Yeah,
that's going to create some unique surprises, which I'm into.
Yeah. All right.
But yeah, so those are the 3 new killer perks.
Probably the one that interests me the most, just from my personal point of view, is Force Hesitation. But I don't think I can't see myself using either of the other ones at all. But I could use Force Hesitation, like you said, on Oni or anybody with Infectious Fright, Myers. That could be fun.
And then we have a new survivor, Gabriel Soma. And I do wonder, is he called Soma because this chapter does feel quite inspired by Soma?
It might be, yeah.
But so he has 3 new perks. He looks kind of cool as well, by the way, just from his aesthetic perspective. He looks interesting. He looks kind of cool. I have like no issue with him. He looks fun.
Yeah.
I look forward to seeing his cosmetics because his hair is like bleached blonde on top. So I hope we get some fun cosmetics for his hair and stuff because they could go a bit crazy with him being sci-fi, which I'm excited for. Anyway, so he's got 3 new perks. Troubleshooter. The auras of the generator with the most progress is revealed to you. The aura of the killer is revealed to you for 6 seconds after dropping a pallet. So basically this is a perk that helps you avoid sandbagging the most important gen at any given time. And also gives you a little bit of information when you drop a pallet.
Okay. Yeah, gotcha.
It does also kind of encourage you to waste pallets a little bit if you want to know who the killer is, but...
But if you run any means necessary, you can reset them.
That's true. Is that still disabled?
I think it's still disabled on the live servers, but by the time the patch comes out, they should have it fixed, surely.
Yeah.
But yeah,
so you can run them you can run both of those perks for OP or a reading.
I can hear Twitter erupting already. And then so this is the one that I have seen a bit of drama about already. And John, I'm looking forward to your reaction. Made for this, 3% haste when injured.
Oh.
You get endurance 10 seconds after completing a healing on another survivor.
Huh.
Okay.
I mean, that did raise my eyebrows, but I did lower them immediately afterwards. Any perk that gives you haste, that's the reason why I was like, huh? Any perk that gives you haste as survivor is going to be, like, ooh, better be careful with that. But I think this is okay. I mean, I can understand the concern, but I think it's similar concern to like when everybody freaked out about like Blood Rush and stuff, and then it's like it came out and it's like,
no one runs it.
Yeah.
I know the two of you are very detached from DBD Twitter, and one of us has to be strong. Has to be strong and keep following literally everyone and reading literally everything. This perk has been the perk that's been taught. Like this is the dead hard.
Well, yeah, I know it's definitely in the rotation of huge conversation because I've seen it and I've muted most of it.
Yeah, so people are freaking the fuck out on both sides about this. So
I
will tell you that this perk is going to be insane, and let me tell you why. Because was it 4% haste? 3%?
3%.
3% haste doesn't sound like a lot, right? Especially when they can erase that haste with like one bloodlust, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not about the chase potential. It's about the after hit potential. It's about how much distance they make after you hit somebody, because that 3% applies to the speed bonus after they're hit, which means that they add like 15 seconds to a chase running in a straight line if you hit somebody once.
Is it stronger than Overcome?
Yeah. Yeah, I believe that it is, because there's no, because you get to, you make, because you maintain.
But what if I run both?
You can't, because you're exhausted when you get,
you're right.
You get exhausted. So
right. Yeah.
I thought the first thing I thought was I'm going to pair this with Overcome and literally run to the corner every time I get M1. But that won't work. It doesn't pair with Overcome. So the problem becomes, again, another problem we've seen continually is this is a perk that's going to hard punish killers that need to make up, like the M1 killers are going to take the pain here. Nurse isn't going to care about a little extra distance. Blight's not going to care about a little extra distance. Wesker is going to care a lot less about a little extra distance, but our poor lower tier killers are going to be in hell.
The Singularity. When I was playing it on the PTB, I felt cruel. I was like, I've got this 3% as well, and they're like trying to catch me as an M1 killer.
I was getting teammates that were literally running No Mither and made for this, like right off the jump.
Oh, so you just get 3% haste the entire game.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be problematic. And I saw a really funny tweet from JRM that I retweeted that I thought was great, where he was like, everybody complains about the meta being stale, but then anytime a good perk comes out, they all want that perk nerfed, and then they complain that everybody's running the same old shit. It's like, let them put some good perks out. Like,
I'm very pro this perk because it sounds fun.
I am too. It's not, and again, the guys that were kicking your ass with 3% haste are probably kicking your ass without it too, bro. Like, the amount of games where that's going to be the real difference maker are probably pretty low. But
that's because like I said, the first time I heard 3% haste, I was like, whoa! But then I was like, oh well, because like Boone Dark Theory gives 2%, and nobody runs that shit.
I do.
Yeah, but that's a zone.
I will say that Boone Dark Theory. Can you buff that or something behavior? It just feels so meaningless. The fact that I can bring a perk that's going to have 3% for being injured, Dark Theory it feels like it's harder to get off, and then it's rubbish.
Here's what I wish they would do. I wish they would buff all the boons by making them quicker to boon. I don't think it should take 14 seconds to bless a totem.
Yeah.
Imagine if it took 10 seconds.
Can they nerf Shadow Step if they do that, though? Because Shadow Step's actually really, really good.
Yeah,
Shadow Step to be up all game.
I think Shadow Step should have a smaller radius.
24 is kind of big.
If they make them faster, I'd be fine with them.
What if they made? Sorry, I know I'm going off on one. What if they made Circle of Healing? They buffed Circle of Healing back to how it was, I think, because I think it's rubbish now. But buff it out to it was,
sucks.
And Shadow Step, leave it as is, but make it like radius smaller, and then you can leave Dark Theory as it is, but make it increase the radius. So make it, if you have that and another boon, it makes it better.
Every boon gives you more radius. We actually
no. Just Dark Theory. Just Dark Theory. Like, so if you want Circle of Healing, but you want it to have a good radius, you're gonna have to bring 2 boons.
The saddest thing about the hypothetical is that they'll never bring Circle of Healing back to old.
That's fine. Like, I don't care, but
yeah.
But like, that's a nice idea, isn't it? It makes Dark Theory like matter. And I think you're right. Yeah. Shadow Step could, then they could make, booning a bit quicker. Because if half of your build is wasted on booning, sweet. That's maybe no prove thyself.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you're not bringing Maid for this.
Everybody's gonna bring Maid for this.
Deja Vu and Maid for this.
Oh,
breaking the game.
Oh, is that okay? Okay, it makes sense now. Yeah, I imagine killer mains were seeing red over this one.
Yes, yeah, you're very angry.
Oh my god, I am interested.
It made me laugh because like people were like arguing about this when the technical test was like the Texas Chainsaw was up, and I was like, really? You're tweeting about DBD at the moment?
Some people, it's their entire personality, so yeah, it makes sense.
I'm right here, John.
I'm interested. No, Doug, you're the king of horror ASIM. You were playing Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Yeah, I'm talking about people who make DBD their entire personality.
True.
After you finish healing, another survivor gain the endurance status effect for 10 seconds. I find that interesting because that seems like...
It's like reverse soul... what's it called?
Soul Guard.
Soul Guard, thank you.
Yeah. I know that I guarantee that these like Reddit killer mains read that and they were just like, because they're envisioning this situation where like you're chasing someone, you've almost got them, and then their teammate that they're in a swift with runs over and they're 99 and they're like, heal me real quick, bro, and then they get endurance and then they basically get dead hard, right? But that shit's never gonna fucking happen.
And if it does happen, well done, survivors.
Yeah, they did a coordinated play, right? So I like
so different from head
that
on
part of the perk actually, because it's something that's probably not gonna happen, but when it does, it's
it'll be a confusing oddity in the match, which is fun.
It's like something that you have to strategize and work together for. Like you have to coordinate something, which I like.
It'll be like a Metal of Man sort of vibe. Where like, what that guy? Yeah. What actual? Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And you know what? I miss feeling like that. I miss things being surprising in DBD, man. That feels good.
Yeah. Yeah, like imagine the survivor that you're chasing turns a corner, you miss them for a second, they heal someone, but you don't see them heal. And then you get the hit and they've got endurance. And you're like, what? And you don't know. Was it made for this? Was it Metal of Man? Was it dead hard? You know, it kind of adds an air of mystery. It's cool.
Yeah, I like that.
And finally, Scavenger. Succeeding at great repairing skill checks grants 1 token, up to a maximum of 4 tokens. Reaching the maximum number of tokens automatically consumes them and fully recharges the toolbox. This only works if you have an empty toolbox in your hand, by the way. Scavenger also grants the ability to rummage through an open chest once per trial and will guarantee a basic toolbox.
Oh,
okay.
This one is actually, I think, maybe going to be problematic because based on the build I run, when I bring a BMP basically every game as Survivor, I'm gonna be able to get that toolbox empty in a hurry. Get a new one. I get a fresh Commodious. Like it's again, I think that like a lot of the perks in this patch have been designed around breaking 3 gens. Like I think that they're very,
I think so.
They're very aware of breaking 3 gens, and this will be an incredible perk because as it stands, I bring a BMP to break a 3 gen, but a lot of times don't find myself in that situation. But you can use this for like an early game gen, and then you still have Scavenger to refresh yourself for the 3 gen break.
Yeah, you can pump out a gen earlier and then worry about the 3 gen later, especially bringing Deja Vu.
So, is there what is the community's reaction on this perk versus like Built to Last?
I think a lot less people are upset, but like smart people are upset and smart people are concerned. And I do think that this perk has a very good chance. I think that like made for this is going to be a niche perk, even though it's very strong. I don't think everybody's going to run it because your average bad player won't be able to get value out of it. But like literally anybody can get Scavenger value. And I think that's going to get seen a lot because gen rushing, which I don't believe in, but like the concept of trying to finish gens really quickly is very much on the mind of the average DVD player, considering the amount of 3 gens that.
Here's a thought about made for this. Do you think that's why they would like more encourage to nerf Dead Hard?
Maybe
because of made for this, because that would be horrible.
Imagine made for this no mither Dead Hard with old card.
Yeah.
So I'm the version of the perk that I'm reading says Scavenger is disabled for the remainder of the trial after.
Yes, you only get like 1 use.
Yeah, you can only do one toolbox.
Repair your toolbox once.
Okay.
Sorry.
But 2 Commodious toolboxes is like a gen and a half though.
Yeah,
that's a lot.
Yeah, and I mean, if you run this with Built to Last, you can get a lot of mileage out of the toolbox. Yeah.
Like literally the counterpoints I've heard people, because like this has been debated a lot on Twitter too. The counterpoints I've heard is, well, not everybody has Commodious toolboxes. Like that's all they can say.
Oh no,
like, there's enough P100s out there now that everyone's fucking got them.
That's not true. Yeah. Ever since the Blood Point change, everybody has Commodious toolbox. Everybody's got like 30 of them on every character. Yeah.
So sad. So I mean, do I think it's going to be problematic? I mean, maybe.
Yeah,
it'll be a strong perk. People should run it. Yeah. Exactly.
I mean, it's any like gen progression perk like this on the survivor side is going to be strong, I think, to a certain degree. So yeah, I'm a little like on the fence about it, but I guess I haven't gotten to see it in action.
I mean,
so
you also have to get the great skill checks.
Yeah.
Which, you know, sometimes a little like, you're like, where are my skill checks?
Yes.
You just sat there going, where are my, give me a skill check, and then it comes and you miss it. It's like,
yeah.
So, we'll see. I can see why there's concern. I think I understand the concern for Scavenger more than Made for this.
I think Scavenger,
I do too.
Scavenger will be a nice replacement for Prove Thyself when you're solo queuing and trying to do gens really fast. Because you can do it all on your own with Scavenger. I like that.
Yeah,
I will use it for sure. I'm gonna use it. Like,
yeah, and the fact that there's like new survivor perks coming out, I'm like, I want to use that. That's cool.
Yeah,
finally.
And they're great solo queue perks. Too.
Yes, which
made for this. And
very
Scavenger
in favor of.
I think are both very strong solo queue perks. Because if you try to do it all yourself, like you want to keep them in chase for a long time, run Made for this. If you want to get 2 gens really quick, run Scavenger.
Yeah.
If you want to be bored and have no fun playing DBD, you could run Deja Vu, right, Gary?
Of course, yeah. I can't wait.
A lot of options out of this patch.
I had a lot of fun running Deja Vu. It was nice seeing the gens. It was nice basically always being able to go, oh cool, I'll go do that gen over there and break that 3 gen. Because it's a part of doing solo queue, like when you do it a lot, Doug, and I'm sure you know sometimes now because you play a lot of Survivor now, when your teammates don't even think about the 3 gen, and you see gens probably like, oh, you're 3-genning us. You're 3-genning us. Well, this makes it much easier for me to stop them. Because I can continually prevent it.
You at least have some autonomy in this situation where you like, I know exactly where it is, and I'm going to do one of those.
Yeah. I can fight back against my dumb teammates more.
Yeah.
Not so much about the killer, it's about my own team.
Like I said, Gary, I think this will be good for solo queuers like us. It'll enhance our personal game, but I really don't think it's going to be adopted by the majority of the player base. They're too busy being like, I'm going to make Blood Rush work this time. So
that's true. They're too busy. They're too busy trying to do that and then 3-genning you.
They're too busy running adrenaline and DCing when it's a killer they don't like. So yeah.
Cool. And the last thing about the PTB, the new chapter at least, the new map.
So I haven't seen it.
I forgot what it's called.
On my first impression, just from seeing it, I was like, that looks like it's gonna have a lot of junk.
Well, John, you'll be happy to hear. You were not wrong. It is a fucking mess to walk around, and I have seen videos of hillbillies and huntresses trying to play on that map. And just the colliders all over the place. Bubbers are struggling, I think, as well. Doug, you might know more about that.
Yep,
it's just colliders are a nightmare. It's a shame as well because it looks really cool. If you when you open the exit door, there's some really nice looking alien ruins, and I wish the map was more that because it's like flat and square shapes, and they could use some of this like plant life around this fauna and flora just around the environment to build up the atmosphere. But the ship looks awesome inside. Like it looks great. The sound design's cool, but my god, it's like you stare at it and you're like, I don't know where I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm trying to play the new killer on that map, the Singularity, and you're putting these cameras around and you're trying to get your bearing. There's like a real lack of signposting. Like if you're on Area of Crows, it's very easy to know where you are. You can see the main building, you know where you are. This map, it's just a mess. And it follows the trend of the shit square and Garden of Joy. It's just clutter, messy. You know, the new Mother's Dwelling and Temple of Purgation, messy.
Yep, right. They're trying too hard to do too much. Every time anybody pines for a map rework, I'm like, if the same team's reworking maps that are making the maps, like just leave the old ones alone. Because they're only going to get worse. I feel like this map is bad. It's just a bad map. It looks cool, like the colors are nice, and I like the
Vom
vibe.
Jin
like,
literally blends in.
Yeah, it's going to be a great blending map for people that like to wear loud cosmetics, which is cool. I mean,
me and the Toxic Nias are going to have a field day on that.
Yeah. I want to like. I was going to settle for like, well, if it's not fucking terrible, I'll like it, and it's just fucking terrible. It's
right.
Yeah, I've given up on them. Like I missed that. You remember when it was a while when we didn't get any maps for ages? It was like an entire year, maybe more than that. We didn't get any new maps, and I think Trickster came and were like, still not a new map. I miss those days. Can we go back to those days?
Yeah.
Because I'll also say the Gas Heaven's a bit. I don't like Gas Heaven's rework. I find the map a little bit boring now. And Blood Lodge has lost Blood Lodge basically feels the same, but it's lost a little bit of charm. But that could be me being grumpy because I don't like Gas Heaven. Blood Lodge is less of an issue, but like I feel like their map team, and I think they will get to it, but they're going to rework Fractured Cowshed and Rancid Abattoir next. I'm like, those are the maps you're going to focus on, not Garden of Joy.
That was my exact reaction to that part, but yeah, we can get to that in a second.
Because we'll talk about that in a bit.
Yeah, like I said, I haven't seen the new map, but just from, I was a little bothered by how they were presenting it on the stream, because when they were talking about the map, they kept talking about like the environment and how we want the player to feel. We want the player to feel scared, and like they're all like everything can kill them. And I was just like, okay, that's great. But what I want to know is how you play Dead by Daylight on it. How does it feel to play the game? How does it feel to loop on it? Does it have the stupid shit that they have on Shattered Square, where on the Killer Shack, where you have to go the long way around and get hooked on stuff? You know, it's like,
which is weird because, as you said, they're talking about game feel, they're talking about user experience elements, and they don't seem to actually care about the game feel, the user experience point of view of DBD's looping mechanic. It's really weird.
It's like the way they were talking about it, it's like they were talking about like a first-time player, you know, like somebody who plays like 20 hours of DBD a month. And
who probably isn't watching the 7-year anniversary celebration stream because they don't care. They don't play DBD yet.
Right. They're not talking about the P100s out there. They're talking about the default Dwight cosmetic that hides in a locker anytime he hears a terror radius. Because he's going to be running around that map being like, whoa, everything here looks like it wants to kill me. And then meanwhile, we're going to be playing on it like, where's the strongest loop?
Oh, everything in my brain wants to kill me right now because I'm stuck on this map. It's another map where, like, you know, when everyone loads into Garden of Joy, it's going to be that for both sides now. When a killer loads into Garden of Joy, they go, oh, for fuck's sake. That can be experienced by both sides now. It'd be like RPD.
Great.
Yeah. Yeah, maps are a sore subject, honestly. I don't mean to be hard on them. I'm sure the people that work on the map team are trying their best and that they have the right intentions, but we haven't had a good map since Dead Dog, and that is not changing with this chapter.
I think what's frustrating about it is that the maps generally, with Shattered Square being kind of a notable outlier, they look great. Like, this new map looks awesome. Like, Garden of Joy, even, like, just visually, it's very impressive, I would say. So like the artists on these maps and the people making the assets and things, they're doing a great job, but it's the design that's
I would like to know who is building it, because, like, aesthetically, you're right. The art team's doing a great job.
Right.
Are those artists designing the map? Because that'd be terrible. Don't let artists do that, in my experience. Is it the programmers? That's a terrible idea. Don't let them do it. You need dedicated level designers.
I don't want to conjecture too much, but it's been going on for long enough. It just feels like whoever is designing the maps does not actually play Dead by Daylight.
Yeah, when was the last time there was a map where it's like, finally?
Yeah, but it's a trend that I've noticed. It's like every new map that comes out, it feels like, it's like, well, why would you do this? Why would you do that? Why would you add map junk to Killer Shack? You know, it's like.
And also, is no one looking at the feedback? Like, it's not like the Shattered Square was new information, because Garden of Joy got shit on for the exact same problem.
Yeah, but the problem is that the feedback, we talked about this way early in the podcast, talking about the nature of asymmetrical players, is that, like, there will be far more killer players complaining about Garden of Joy and Badham Preschool than there are the Survivor players who bring those fucking map offerings because they know that it's a free win. So, you know, like, behavior has to listen to a split crowd. Some people, I mean, people use all those maps we're listing: Garden of Joy, Shattered Square, Badham Preschool. People bring offerings for those. They want to go to those maps to get their free wins. Swifts bring offerings for those all the time.
I wonder.
So, like, in their mind, it's not like a cut and dry. Like, everyone hates
talk a bit more about
everyone
that
loves this.
Shortly, actually, they spoke about that a little bit in the thing as well.
I do wonder if behavior looks at data for how many times players bring map offerings for maps as like a positive. I wonder if they look at that as like people want to go to these maps. That means that they're fine.
I wonder if they look at the correlating data of how many times that map offering gets a DC from the killer prior to loading into the match. Do they have that to collect? Can they collect how many killers Alt F4 when they see Garden of Joy or they see Shattered Square? Because that would be great data for their fucking spreadsheets. I'll tell you right now.
My game mysteriously crashes every time I see a Garden of Joy offering. So.
Oh, mine doesn't. I fucking crash my PC with intent when that happens. I make sure.
I go for it and just assume. I'm like, if I lose, it's not my fault. If I win, fuck them. And I see it as a license to play however I want. Like, I won't camp and tunnel, but if someone brings me to Garden of Joy, fuck them. What do I want?
Yeah. I go 50-50 on either just Alt F4ing or playing the game and then like intentionally face camping the first person I catch in order until either the match ends or everybody dies. And then I just hope that I get the guy that brought the map offering first. That's like my sincere hope.
See, I'll play. Usually, I'll start like playing. It's a bit sweaty when there's 2 gens left, but I'll see how quickly the first 2 gens go, and then I'll just see how sweaty I'm going to be. But I'm usually worse. I'm meaner in those situations.
Yeah, I'm always meaner. You don't have to feel guilty for anything if a map offering gets used.
No, of course not.
Unless they use a McMillan's one, then you should play Super Chill because those are the best maps in the game.
So sometimes when I'm playing Survivor and someone brings us to a map offering the Killer's Panic and Ass, I'm like, fair play to him. He can do what he wants. I'm sitting there preparing my plan of like, right, I need to find a chest and give them an offering because I'm going to try and be cute because I didn't do this.
Not my fault, bro.
Yeah. So that's the new chapter. Cool. So, another thing they announced at on the anniversary broadcast is they plan on focusing on smaller, more focused balance updates with each update this year. So we're not going to get like another 6.1.0 where they completely shifted the meta. That's what the 3 gen was born and Dead Hard got gutted and DS changed and everything got like changed all together. They're doing smaller changes going forward. They're not going to be doing any more big, giant meta shakeups, which I appreciate. Now, one thing that did worry me about this statement is the next statement they said was, moving forward we plan on having map balancing as part of these regular gameplay updates as well. Now, we were just talking about the maps. They're going to be doing smaller updates to the maps going forward, and I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
Well, I mean, we'll have to wait and see, I guess, but I would say I'm not against the idea of it. I will have to see about the execution.
I mean, like, Eerie of Crows is kind of a side grade, right? Like, it's not, I don't think it's a good map now, but it's better than it was before. I don't know.
Well, this is the thing. They said, to quote them again, we started this process with Raccoon City Police Department. Then we followed suit with the Eerie of Crows map, and finally the most recent ones being Blood Lodge and Gas Heaven. So those are the examples they're giving of small updates to the maps. So RPD I thought was quite a massive change where they turned it into, 2 separate things. Eerie of Crows, a fairly substantial change to Eerie of Crows as well, I would have said. Like, I don't think that would have been a small map balance. And then next up they're going to plan on doing Fractured Cowshed and Rancid Abattoir. The swamp maps, are they not getting changed at all?
I don't know, man. That's crazy, right?
I just remembered, weren't they getting changed at some point? But I guess
crazy, because they've reworked those Coldwind maps since the swamps came out, right? And they made changes to the swamp. They made them smaller. They cut off some of the perimeter a little bit, but I'm surprised we're not getting a full swamp rework before they start touching Coldwind maps that have already been rebalanced a couple times.
Yeah.
Can I just say, were you guys equally bewildered when they were building up, like, we've got 2 maps that we're gonna change, and they acted like everyone knows what these 2 maps are. They're the outliers. They're the ones that everyone's got a problem with it. And then they were like, Fractured Cowshed and Rancid Abattoir. And I was like,
is it because
Rancid Abattoir? What?
Is it because Cowshed was a problem years ago?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Before they fixed it. And now it's still a survivor friendly map, but like, it's not, to me, I can think of like 5 maps that I'd be more upset to play on than Fracture.
Yeah,
exactly.
And Rancid Abattoir, I didn't know that was a problem at all.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't heard literally anyone complain about Rancid Abattoir. It's one of those like really middle of the.
Where did we place it on the tier list? Probably in quite a fair place, I would say. Like,
I feel like it was somewhere in the middle. It had to have been.
Yeah,
B or C. Yeah. I mean, it was not D at all, or I don't know if we had an F, but
do we have a James tier?
I mean, to be fair, Rancid Abattoir is probably a James tier type map. Like, who thinks about that? They're not like no one's excited. No one's excited to zone in on an Abattoir, but nobody's like, oh, not Rancid Abattoir. Ah!
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I'm worried because most maps, as they say, most maps in DBD are seen as either killer sided or survivor side. Now, goal is integrating into the live design process is really to make them feel more balanced. And I'm a little worried about that. Is their plan is to make all the maps feel a little samey with a middle building and just junk around it. Trying to make it so each one's... I don't really care about DBD being fair. I don't want them to change Midwich. Midwich is fine. It's a killer-sided map, but it's a fun map. I quite like it.
I had a similar reaction where I was like, I don't agree that they should... It's going to be an impossible task for them all to be balanced. It just is. There's always... No matter how much they fine-tune and nudge things, there's always going to be, like you said, unless they make them all the same... Yeah. God forbid. Unless they make them all the same, there's always going to be survivor side and killer side maps, and it's going to change relative to what the meta is. So I kind of don't really like that. That's the goal. I wish it was more like we want to make these maps. Like I've been beating the entire time of like more fun to play Dead by Daylight on, more about loops and less about this map junk crap that they've been shoveling the past few releases.
Yeah,
so.
Like I would say, I wouldn't have a problem with Garden of Joy if it was the only shitty map at the moment. But because we've got Shattered Square, I don't like the Mother's... Sheltered Woods. I don't like that change either.
No.
Like if it wasn't all these maps they kept putting junk everywhere, I would have no problem with Garden of Joy being just a survivor-sided map, which I suffer on as killer sometimes. Like it's fine. I 4K enough on it to not have to worry. Like, I don't mind there being these one-sided maps. I just...
Yeah, and another thing too is like I don't think they need to be like perfectly balanced, but like some of this outlier stuff, just like the 2 gens in the lobby on RPD, like can we please just correct that somehow? Make it so there's. I know, but like if they're talking about like we're gonna make these small map changes, right? Like it's like how is that not?
Doug's not happy.
How is the 3-gen situation on the new RPD, how is that not where you put Rancid Abattoir?
Yeah.
How come it's not like we're gonna fix Garden of Joy and the 3-gen situation on RPD? Like
Loop Me Round Cowshed is like just a meme at this point.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean,
I was a bit surprised.
Yeah. I think that I don't like conjecture either, but I think that they were already just planning on doing these maps like as part of their regular. Because again, there was nobody that was like fix Gas Heaven and fix Blood Lodge. They fix those ones too, right? Like they just they're just picking maps and they're fixing them, and then they've got a list of maps they want to change.
They're trying to pretend that it's something like we know you've all been waiting for it. Everyone's like, no, we haven't.
Yeah. No, and we have very real problems with other maps. Like, can you guys fix those ones?
Like Rancid Abattoir, I would forget that map is even part of the game if I was listing them all.
Yeah, I often do.
Yeah.
I think I did when we did our map tier list.
Yeah.
When we were like going through all the Coldwind maps, I was just like, okay, of course we got Fractured Cowshed, Rotten Fields, and I think I forgot to mention Rancid Abattoir when I was listing them out.
Well, how could you forget about Rancid Abattoir? Linksy told us all about the bus on Rancid Abattoir. Right?
Oh yeah, right. Yeah, the mines on Rancid Abattoir.
The mines. Yeah, go to the mines.
Yeah.
So they're going to be changing some maps up in the future. Little and often, more RPG change level stuff by looks of things, which we'll see how it pans out. Hopefully, it's all great.
Can I also just say, just before we move on, sorry, it's disappointing once again. I feel like this is like the 3rd straight year that they've gotten to like the maps section of the anniversary stream, and I keep being like, are they going to mention anything about map offerings? And they never do.
I was shocked actually. One of my things that I was expecting was a deletion of map offerings. I thought we were getting it this year. I thought they were going to take them out because people don't like them.
They would get way fewer complaints about maps if they just deleted the offerings.
That's my way of fixing in terms of balancing the maps, the only balance problem is that people can bring a map offering. Because if you take away the map offerings, then it's all RNG. If you get Midwich, good for you, killer. If you get God of Joy, lucky survivors.
And the other thing I don't like, behavior always seems like they care a lot about things being balanced, right? But like a Coldwind offering and a Macmillan offering are way fucking different than a Borgo offering or a Garden of Joy offering. You're getting a specific map when you use Borgo. Or when you use Garden of Joy, but like the old maps that have multiple maps in the set, Auto Haven and whatnot, like you're still getting, at least there's RNG there.
Yeah,
Cold Wind maps are pretty rough. I still hate a Cold Wind offering. But if you bring an Auto Haven offering, or if you bring a Macmillan offering, like I'm playing the game the exact same way. It's like, you know what, those are pretty solid maps, and there's a lot of variance there. Right. But it's like when you just see the same maps over and over again, people bring in game offerings constantly. People bring in Borgo offerings constantly. They're getting to choose to go to a map.
Imagine if at the anniversary event they went, right, we know you've been out there. Here's the big map offer, big update. We know you've been wondering about it. We're going to create 2 more variants of Garden of Joy, 2 more variants of the game, 2 more variants of Borgo. And you're like, oh, sweet. They're going to get to rework those maps a little bit and actually make it so they can be a bit balanced. Or just delete Borgo.
No, Gary, no.
But they
Badham has 5 versions. Every one of them is the worst map in DBD.
Oh, that is true.
No.
Yeah, they are terrible.
No.
Just delete Springwood.
Yeah, they should.
Honestly, you guys remember when there was the DBD leaks that were wrong for the 17th time in a row, where they were like, "Oh, Freddy's leaving the game." I was so happy because I knew when Freddy left, as would the map, Badham would be gone forever, and it would go the way of the Stranger Things map. Hawkins, yeah.
I mean, it pains me to say it as a Nightmare on Elm Street fan, but if Freddy, Quentin, and Springwood were to disappear from the game, it would not affect anything about how I play DBD
I think,
at all.
Doug, you know how you feel about the Texas Chainsaw? That's how I feel about Freddy. Like classic Nightmare on Elm Street films, that's my shit. Mm-hmm. They're great.
Right.
Yeah, the map is just painfully bad. I don't know. I'm not gonna give a personal. I mean, I don't. We only have so much time left today. I can't talk about.
True. Yeah.
Well, moving on to another exciting thing, which I'm sure I don't think I've seen the meltdown happen on Twitter yet, but I'm sure it's coming. I'm sure it's brewing when we get more details about it. But they're introducing anti-camping. They're working on a system that survivors will be able to unhook themselves, even in stage 2, if a killer stays in close proximity to the hook. We will be seeing this later this year, apparently. What are our thoughts on this?
Great change.
Yeah.
I think it's a great change. Honestly, as a killer man, I think it's a great change. I think that, like, you're really not gaining much by unhooking yourself. If the killer's staring at you in the face, they're still going to down you and put you back on hook. But you're just giving your team more time to either come help out with body blocks or just slam gens. It's a net positive. The only person who suffers from this are your first hook face camp people that just face camp somebody out and win a 1v3. That's going to hurt them a lot. But like most situations, it's going to deactivate an endgame, so it's not going to take your last kill away, right? And I mean, a late game camp, they're going to most likely have time to get the gen done anyways. But with this unhook mechanic, they'll be able to unhook themselves, take the borrowed time hit, get down again, go back on the hook, the gen's done. You know?
Right.
I disagree a little bit. I think it also hurts the lazy killers that get 2+K by staring at the first person they hook, waiting for mistakes to happen, because now survivors will hopefully be even less inclined to go for the unhook. Because they'll hit the terror radius and be like, oh, they'll unhook themselves. Sweet.
Yeah, you won't have to come. You won't have to come off of a gen to get the same trade net effect.
Right.
Yeah. So it's perfect for like that, and I think it's a great change as well. How about you, John?
Yeah.
So I think it's a good change in concept, and it's better than nothing. You know, like we've said with a couple other things. I was a little frustrated that we couldn't see it, like any gameplay, even any like alpha footage or something. They were just like describing it, because I was like, well, how far away is this radius? Like, how fast does the meter fill up? I feel like there's a lot of...
They're probably still working that stuff out, though, in their defense. Like, there's going to be some balancing things with that.
Yeah, but I'd like to see, like, where their head's at right now. But instead, we just got kind of a vague description of it. And I was like, well, okay. I mean, I'm on concept, I'm okay with this. But, again, it depends on the execution. Because it's like, how far away is this radius? Are killers going to obviously just be like, oh, if I stand exactly 16 meters away, then, I can get away with doing it anyway, right? And there's going to be some killers that it's not going to affect, really, like Huntress, for example, or like possibly Bubba. It just depends on how it's implemented. But, again, it's better than nothing, So I like that.
Can we do something fun when this actually drops? Can we get in a group? Can we grab Sinnoh, maybe grab one more? And I'll play killer. And I want to run I want to see how fast we can get the gens done with like one person getting hooked, but using reassurance and then the unhook, so they can like use reassurance and then unhook themselves, and then use reassurance again and then unhook themselves again. Like that'd be really funny, I think, just to see how long one person can stay on a hook during a game before they die.
Yeah. I'm down. Yeah. Let's do that. Yeah,
that'd be fun.
Yeah, we should do that.
But yeah, so that's another thing they're going to be introducing in the future. Outside of this, and this is something that was in the PTB, the loadout search bar. It's all on all platforms. It will be. Works quite well. Does the job. It's taken a long time to get it.
I mean, yeah, we're on year 7 of the game and we get a search bar, but hey, I would prefer a favorite system, but yeah, again, it's like quality of life. Better than nothing, right? So
yeah, and so
I'll take the search bar.
Is this in this PTB or not? It was unable to test it because no one was already DCing. AI bot replacements for teammates when they DC.
I don't think that was in the PTB because they said that was coming like this summer.
Okay, so it's not in yet. But yeah, so that's an exciting change. Like, it's not going to save a match, but it's better than nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, not to sound like the fucking Grinch over and over again, but it's like better than nothing, I guess. DBD Mobile has had it for years. We're on year 7. Glad we finally got it. You know, but yeah, glad they're doing it.
You'll absolutely win. You'll absolutely win games because of that.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
Yeah, you'll absolutely win because
bots are not bad.
They're not terrible, and then the amount of time that it takes the killer to dispatch the bots will, in a lot of cases, especially when they're bad, will buy you a whole lot of extra time to win the game. I mean, sometimes you'll win a 1v3 on a first down DC, anyways.
Yeah.
Now imagine if you had a body there.
Yeah, like literally some of my matches where it's 3v1 and you just like you get the gens just about done. Imagine if you had another body just to unhook someone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
Or like just having somebody on a gen while you're off.
Someone to get
chase or something.
But they can be bad and get hooked. That takes time. That's time to do a gen. Yeah. Time to get the door open. I don't know.
And if you're the Singularity, your power gets taken away by one of the players, which is great. So.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so on top of this, we're also getting some new cosmetics. Are we excited about the new player card cosmetics?
I saw the funniest tweet about the cosmetics update, like the cosmetic comment, because like they made a statement about like, yeah, we've worked on our system to where we'll be able to get out more detailed cosmetics and faster cosmetics like that. And then someone was like, yeah, I was really excited about this change until I realized they're just going to churn out 6 times as many Feng Min cosmetics. Like they're not like, it doesn't look like they're using that to like make cosmetics for some of the lesser represented survivors.
Because now they're drawing borders for your card.
Yeah.
That's what they meant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When I saw player card, I got excited about maybe having like stats. I thought that stats would be really cool, but it looks like it's just a cosmetics thing.
It's gonna be like you're gonna have like a little tagline that says, "I'm the nemesis," or something.
Well, it's like what Prop Night has, right?
Yeah.
Prop God and all that.
Yeah, all that dumb shit. Yeah.
DBD Mobile has had this for a while too.
Oh. It's weird that
it's just
the PC version
weird,
just copies mobile.
Yeah, behavior hired Tencent to make them a mobile version and just steal all their ideas. Like, we'll just put this in the main game.
The thing is like when they said there's gonna be a new cosmetic category or whatever, I was like, ooh, interesting. And then they came out with, I think I said this before the podcast, like the worst possible option, in my opinion, for a new cosmetic. I
mean, John, when you said to me, like, I was thinking, are they gonna disconnect hats from cosmetics so that I can use hair and a hat? Are they going to take some of the backpacks off and make that a separate thing? So, like in Fortnite, I can wear cosmetic A with cape from this, theme. Like, that's what I was hoping for.
Yeah, my mind was swimming with ideas. I was like, are we going to get emotes? Are we going to get alternate Moris like DBD Mobile? Are we going to get, like you said, hats, separate hats, which like they're bringing back the crowns, right? The year 5 crowns that you can get again. So it's like that could be like a hat that you could wear separately from the default head.
Yeah, the little donuts behind your back.
Yeah. Because the reason I never use crowns is because they're always on the default heads.
Yeah.
And there's so many options. And instead they were like banners and avatars or icons or whatever. And I was just like, this is gonna be like charms for me. It's just like there's so many better options.
But if you had to search for them with a new loadout search bar.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to sound like a little angry gamer piss baby about this stuff, but it's just like, oh come on, like out of all the options for a new cosmetic, this is what you guys chose. I just feel like there's so much missed opportunity here with like, just add emotes. What are you guys doing? Add more than 2 emotes. I don't understand what the holdup is with this stuff. You guys have like hundreds of people working there. You got tons of people on the art team. How's it not possible?
I want a third emote that just tells off your like, damn it, you idiot.
Yeah,
I want that. I want to point aggressively at my teammate when they miss a skill check.
I just want to hit the get gritty at the exit gate. That's all I want. 500 Auric cells. Give me it. Right?
I'm in,
Oh, with the heater. I want to do that.
But also another exciting change is the player report feedback feature, which I'm pretty excited about. So similar to games like Rainbow Six Siege or League of Legends, when someone's an asshole or bigger in some way or form, you can report them for it. And usually a little while later, you'll get some feedback saying, oh, this person, we took action, they've been banned, or they've been suspended or something like that. You'll get some feedback, and Behaviour is apparently going to implement a very similar system to this. And there was no mention, because in the past they mentioned about having AI taking care of this. They didn't mention that, and as long as that's not part of this, I'm excited.
Yeah. I think they probably walked that back, or
I hope so, because that'll be terrible.
Thought about the actual logistics of that, and we're like, maybe not.
We have a lot of people getting banned for doing nothing. Like, that's not.
Yeah, right. Create more work for them.
Yeah, but yeah, good thing. Like, it means like, because one thing I take from the Ask Me Anything, like live streams potentially returning, and like this player report thing, is it feels like they're starting to care a little bit more about the community health. Like,
yeah. Like I think like I said a couple weeks ago, I kind of felt like I kind of feel like they woke up a little bit after the Skull Merchant backlash, because I've been noticing a change in the last few months where it seems like they were kind of like they had kind of a tunnel vision and they were just kind of doing their own thing, and then there was such an uproar over Skull Merchant and the Knight that they were kind of like, oh wait, you guys don't like this? And I feel like they've kind of been paying more attention.
They probably started to see that numbers were dropping a little bit, and they're probably like, oh, if we keep doing this.
Well, the other good news is they put their money where their mouth was too. Like when they released the PTB for the healing changes, and people were like, "The fuck, guys!" Like they were like super active on social, super active on the forums. Like, we're hearing you, we're listening, and then they like took positive action based on community feedback. Like them saying that they're going to be doing the dev streams and they're going to be doing more community feedback, like type of deal. Like that doesn't feel hollow anymore. It feels very like a very real thing.
It feels like they're involved again with the game, and it feels like it's not like this. We're not two separate camps. It feels like one big community working together on a game that everyone loves, and I'm very happy about that.
Yeah, I agree. Same.
So that's a great announcement. Further to this, a couple of small things. Well, I say small. Supermassive Games video game project being created, which will have a new cast of characters, which intrigues me.
Yeah.
Which means one of those licensed killers in the future could be something to do with Supermassive. I know people were like, Until Dawn. It's like, I think PlayStation own Until Dawn quite heavily. But we might see something from one of the Dark Pictures anthology, maybe The Quarry.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
And also they're working with Midwinter Entertainment, which I'm not sure what they make, but they're making a PvE experience, which I'm assuming is going to be like Back 4 Blood, Outlast Trials-esque, something. Yeah. Something a bit like that by the sounds of things.
That's intriguing. Yeah, I like the sound of that. That sounds cool.
Both of these projects, exciting. And it also means, what I'm taking from it is that I was a little worried they might start veering towards, they're working with Konami, they're working on other games like Meet Your Maker and stuff. I thought they were maybe going, DBD, let's just let that carry on. The Knight, Skull Merchant, who cares? And working on other projects. But this seems like they're going back to going, okay, DBD's our flagship. We're making a film. We're making other games that are going to spin off from DBD as part of the universe. Obviously, they're focusing more on the community again. Like, this is all really exciting for the game, I think. I'm feeling really optimistic about Behaviour and DBD again.
And if they nail these license chapters, like, that could be huge. Because with Texas Chainsaw right around the corner, we'll talk about it more. But I think that however you feel about the tech test, like, it is going to be a major player in ASIM at least for a few months. Like, maybe not long term, but like, the yesterday, I think day before yesterday, Texas Chainsaw had 70,000 people watching it.
Yeah,
and DVD was in like the 30s. Like it's gonna be a thing.
Yeah.
So it's good to know that DVD is not going to be sitting back and allowing that to just kind of like
steal its players.
Yeah. They're gonna earn. You're gonna have to earn our players. Right?
Yeah. So I just had a flashback to Resident Evil film for some reason. You know that guy's like, you have to work for your dinner. He throws the gun at the zombies.
It reminded me of Lucas in Resident Evil 7. You gotta earn your way, Ethan. He has that line.
That's behavior right now.
Beautiful.
Stuck, yeah.
Those license chapters could be huge.
Yes.
Hopefully they're good. Hopefully they're good licenses. Yeah.
In other exciting news, we're getting a cosmetic crossover with Iron Maiden and Slipknot.
I can't believe it. When they said Iron Maiden, I was like, what?
Yeah.
I thought they were kidding around.
I can cosplay as Kay's Cooking. Hopefully I get an Iron Maiden t-shirt.
Yeah, it's insane. I can't believe it. I was like, Iron Maiden, are you... What? I wonder what the impetus behind that was. Like, does Bruce Dickinson play DBD or what? Like, maybe. I don't get it. Slipknot kind of makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah, because I think they said that the Killers are going to be getting the masks for Slipknot. Yeah. Iron Maiden, Cousin Ed themed. Is that what his name is? The Skeleton Man?
Eddie,
yeah. Something to do with him. I'm guessing for survivors, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm guessing it's going to be like maybe a charm or I don't know. I can't imagine what it would be.
Yeah.
Other than that, maybe a T-shirt with Eddie on it. They could have that for all the survivors, like a Meet Your Maker type of thing.
And the cosmetic announcement that I'm particularly excited about is the Naughty Bear cosmetic for Trapper. Because it's just dumb enough. You know?
It is dumb.
Like, when I see a Robbie the Rabbit running around in Legion, it makes my heart smile. When I see a Trapper dressed like Naughty Bear, that's going to be cheering. Because it's going to look so dumb. And my hope is that means they might actually give Trapper some love. And fix him up a little bit, because he's about to be Naughty Bear. Make him viable.
Yeah.
But for me, it feels like DD's moving in a fun direction.
Those are, yeah. That and one of the other announcements that they made make me think, like, well, this is kind of the fun I was looking for. This is kind of the fun vibe. So,
there's another announcement?
Oh, yeah.
Spoilers.
Is there another one? Was there another announcement of?
That's all the cosmetics was. Okay. I mean, there's plenty more to talk about. I say plenty. There's a few more things that they announced. Do you want me to go through them? Did I miss something?
Sure. Yeah. Sorry.
I think John and I were trying to set up an announcement. It's fine. Just do your thing, Gary. It's fine.
Okay. Well, the Twisted Masquerade is coming back. The event.
That's what we were setting up, right, John?
That's it.
Yeah, Twisted Masquerade, poggers.
Yes, that's returning. We're getting new masks, new visuals. Which one is it? One of the Croats Pren maps, isn't it? Am I wrong?
Oh, Father Campbell's Chapel.
Father Campbell's, yeah. That's getting a huge overhaul to look all masqueraded up. You're going to be able to, and this is the bit where I'm guessing this is the bit you're talking about, John. You're going to be able to use your invitations to mess with the other side.
Yep.
That was it. Nailed it.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
He's going to feel so dumb. He's going to feel so dumb when like, where is he even listening to you? All right, go on.
No. Tell me what.
No, you just need to keep going.
Wait till you get there.
We can't wait. We honestly can't wait.
Yeah.
Oh. It's the last thing on my list. It's the last thing on the list because it's the last thing they announced.
Right, yeah.
Oh, fuck you both.
It's your list. It's the list's fault, for sure, dude. Yeah.
I'm working my way through it.
Who wrote the list?
Chronologically. I'm sorry. Anyway.
Don't use big words. You know how big words make me angry.
The Masquerade event, you get to mess with each side. You can break pallets. You'll be able to, I believe, make... survivors exposed at a certain point when you've got a certain level of bloodlust by using your invitation up.
Your first tier of bloodlust exposes the survivor, or you can remote break pallets once you interact with the event object. Yeah,
which I think's interesting. And then further to that, I mean, they also mentioned that they showed Nia and Hillbilly getting new cosmetics and a Ghostface one, which is going to cost money, I believe. But they're also going to be introducing random perk challenges. Which I thought was a real exciting thing because that means more chaos, less balance.
Yeah.
Which I thought was a very positive thing.
Definitely.
So yeah, I'm very excited for this Masquerade. Between the Masquerade event bit getting bigger, they said that the Halloween event's going to get bigger as well. And then all the smaller events they plan on introducing. It feels like they're going to make the year a lot busier and a lot more exciting. Because DBD sometimes goes through these lull patches where you're just kind of waiting for a new chapter. That might not be the case going forward, which again, I'm very excited for.
Yeah, again,
I agree.
It's huge with them like saying the Twisted because I thought the Twisted Masquerade was a good event, anyways.
Yeah,
and now they're like, no, we can go bigger. Like that's a really good trend to see, because they could very easily get lazy and just say, oh, we're just going to re-release the same shit. They've done
which they have done, yeah.
Yeah, lunar events they've redone that with, and Halloween events, like you said, they've redone that with. So for them to say like we can do better on an event that was already pretty fun to me. Like that's a really good sign. So yeah. Congrats, behavior.
And that's it. That's the entire anniversary event. That's everything. Yeah, nothing else.
You're not forgetting anything.
Check your notes, Scary. Check your list. Check your list. The list never lies.
There might be an item at the end of the list that you haven't mentioned yet.
It's
really
there is
small,
there is something.
Really small type.
Yeah, it's just one little thing. Nicolas Cage is going to be in the game. Not a character. Nicolas Cage.
Yeah.
Playing he's himself. A character. He's a character.
Oh, that's very true. Thoughts?
So I actually this is the one part of this live stream that I got spoiled on because I saw
Me too. Yeah. Well, they announced it because it got leaked. They announced it early.
Yeah.
And then it's such a shame because it was such a good build up throughout the broadcast.
I saw it get leaked, and then I was like, wow, that's an excellent fake. That's very well done. It looks real. And I thought I was like, there's no way. Somebody made that as a joke. And then DBD tweeted out, and I was like, it's real?
I think they made a mistake by tweeting it out. I think they shouldn't have, because I wouldn't have seen it.
Should have saved it for I
think they reacted a little bit too much to the leaks. But yeah, Nicolas Cage is going to be in the game as a survivor.
Yeah.
I was kind of hoping he was going to be the observer, personally.
That's what I thought, because he's wearing the same
similar jacket right?
as the observer. Yeah,
but no, he's going to be a survivor, or maybe he is the observer and that is the survivor. I don't know. I don't know where they're going to go with Nicolas Cage. I just hope I know he's recording the voices as well.
Yes.
He's going to be the voice actor for his own character, which makes sense. So I can only imagine he's going to have the best voice lines in the game, the best screams, the best everything.
Yeah.
I think we're going to stop seeing Resident Evil characters every match. I think we're going to see a lot of Nicolas Cage every match.
Oh yeah, he'll be the most popular survivor by a wide margin, I feel like.
Sorry, go.
No, you please.
There's one other thing that I think is quite exciting at the idea of Nicolas Cage. I really hope they do a Nicolas Cage themed cosmetics for every character, because his fashion is legendary. I don't mean like in films. I mean his just when he walks around.
Yeah.
Like, give me his jackets on every character. Give me an outfit for Nicolas Cage for every character, and I'll buy them all.
Yeah, I could definitely see like super fan cosmetics coming out, like Dwight with a big Nicolas Cage t-shirt and stuff. That could be really funny.
Yeah, just anything. But
it's great.
I want a legendary cosmetic that's John Travolta. That's what I want.
Who would you give it to?
To Nicolas Cage.
Oh, I see. Oh,
for Face Off. Yeah, Face Off.
Yeah. That'd be cool.
Anyway, have you guys seen Face Off?
Yes, yeah. It's good.
Yeah, I've seen Face Off. Yeah.
Nicolas Cage is great in it. So John Travolta, to be honest.
Yeah, it's technically John Travolta, but because he's Nicolas Cage, right? So technically, what my favorite thing about the Nicolas Cage DLC was seeing all the people that on Twitter who's like DBD's like their entire personality be like, "Who's Nicolas Cage? Am I supposed to know who this is?" Yeah, multiple people. They kept showing up in my feed. Yeah,
oh my god!
Really? Someone tell me who Nicolas Cage is?
I mean,
am I supposed to know who he is?
It's crazy because like I don't consider Nicolas Cage to be like a horror icon by any stretch of the imagination, but he's been in some legendary horror roles. Like he's a good horror actor. Like he's done good horror.
Yeah.
Maybe not the most mainstream stuff, but yeah, I think it's very strange for people not to see him. To
Just
counter that,
people would know him from the memes, if nothing else.
yeah, well, to counter that, I saw a lot of people who were fucking pissed. They're like, "Oh my god, he doesn't belong in DBD. This is the game's dying. This is a sign that they don't care about their game anymore. They don't care about their game anymore. They just want to put Nicolas Cage in to make money."
My initial thought was, he's a bit too good for DBD. But the more I've thought about it, the more I'm like in love with the idea.
Yeah, I think it's great.
I love it. I think it's great, and I would love to see more. Again, like they already.
I love the idea of a sign of a game dying is getting Nicolas Cage.
I know, right? The more that DBD can be like Fortnite, the better.
Yeah,
that's my policy at this point.
Well, and they're continuing. Like they went with the Attack on Titan skins that surprised everybody. They've got the Iron Maiden, the Slipknot stuff. That like, people were like, "Oh, well, now they're pulling metal bands in here," which I was I didn't talk about a lot when you brought it up earlier, but I think that's fucking awesome. I'm super into that.
Oh yeah,
I'm gonna be very excited about those cosmetics. And then now Nicolas Cage, like they're really showing, and they've kind of like hinted at this that like everything's on the table now. Like anything is possible.
Right.
Like they're just
I mean, like this makes it mega mainstream.
Yeah.
Like every gaming website was like not just gaming websites, but just websites going, Nicolas Cage is going to be in a video game because that's a big deal.
It is.
So well done behavior.
And they picked the right person for it because it tracks. It's like Nicolas Cage is off. Like one of the reasons he's
in
such
everything,
like a cultural icon is that he's in everything. It's like every idea that passes his desk, he's like, I'll do it. So this tracks with it. It's great. It's perfect.
Yeah. Apparently, I think I saw someone say that his son's a fan of DBD as well. So that
makes sense.
Also,
yeah,
that factors.
A little connection. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so
by the way, sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, you go, John. Okay.
I was just gonna say, if anyone out there hasn't heard of Nicolas Cage, you need to see Mandy. You need to see Color Out of Space. Those are the two you need to see.
And Pig. Pig is really good.
I haven't seen that one yet, but
very good. Highly recommend. I think it's my favorite Nicolas Cage film.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I've met two people in my life that have seen Color Out of Space, John. You're number 3 now. You're number 3.
Yeah.
Oh, can I be number 4 then? Because I've seen it.
You've seen it?
Yeah, it's really good.
Oh my god. There's a scene from that movie that is burned into my mind literally forever. I will never not have that image in my head. Like I will be on my dying breath on the operating table, and the last thing I'm going to think about is it's like one of the more shocking and disturbing moments in any film I've ever seen, and that to me is like a huge win. That's a great movie.
We should talk about that after the podcast.
We should. Yeah, we should. Yeah.
I want to watch it again. Like
I don't watch it again.
Very few horror movies I want to watch.
I was eating when I watched that movie. I want you guys to know that.
Okay. Yeah. Nice.
Anyways, yeah.
Yeah, it's like probably the best Lovecraftian horror film I've ever seen.
Oh, it's so well done as well.
Agreed.
It's the only time it's worked for me that I've seen like Lovecraft in media, frankly, outside of a book. It includes video games and everything else. So, yeah.
That's a big statement. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I mean, it's incredible. So,
yeah.
Seriously, if there's one thing you take out of the podcast today, it's on Shudder. Go watch Color Out of Space like immediately.
And Pig.
Yeah.
Pig's also very good. It's not
Pig's
a horror movie. It's not
a horror movie.
It's very good.
It's just beautiful. It's a very beautiful film.
If you're wanting to watch something silly, Willy's Wonderland is really funny.
That's quite good. I quite like
iconic.
Yeah.
Better than FNAF. There I said it. Let's go.
We haven't got FNAF yet. The film's coming out on it, so.
If you want to see Nicolas Cage literally curb stomp animatronics that are screaming at him that they want to swallow his soul, then you should watch Willy's Wonderland.
So good.
It's so funny. Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, so that's the anniversary event for DBD, year 7. What do we think? Happy, mid, sad?
I think in light of how DBD's been recently, it's a thumbs up.
Yeah! I'm a thumbs up as well.
But I couldn't help but think about like how much the year 4 anniversary broadcast spoiled me, because like I feel like nothing's gonna measure up to that one for me. It's like the Pyramid Head reveal, the map reworks, like everything that they revealed on that cross play and stuff. That was just like peak hype, I feel like, and I feel like it's kind of ruined every anniversary stream since then, because I keep viewing it through that lens of like, well, it's not quite as good as year 4, is it? But overall, thumbs up.
Well, year 5 had Nemesis and year 6 had Wesker. Those were pretty.
Yeah, I just mean like the total package.
The whole thing put together.
Yeah.
I think it's notable that like the new chapter that's coming out for the anniversary is probably like the least exciting thing overall. Like, I think we're more excited about the direction the game's going in and the direction the devs are taking with how they're going to accept and apply feedback. Like, that's to me is more exciting than the actual physical chapter that's coming. The chapter is good.
Yeah.
I think it's a good, not great in my mind. But what's more exciting is seeing things like the new Hollywood collaborations, the new, mindset behind balancing the game, hopefully for more fun interactions and more interesting gameplay rather than really
honestly, if I'm going to be, I think the new chapter is more of a minus on the event than a plus, which I think for time why they kind of skipped over it a little bit to like, oh yeah, new chapter. Anyway, we're also it's like, okay,
yeah.
They just kind of showed the trailer for it and then just moved on. They're like, didn't really talk about that. I thought that was really weird. Whereas Wesker was like a big deal. Nemesis was massive. They spent quite a lot of time talking about it.
Well, that was kind of maybe that was more the meat of what they were trying to communicate then too, is these massive chapters. And now it's like, this chapter is going to be solid, but be excited about the game, which I think is a healthier direction.
Yeah, no, I agree with
the
you.
Game overall. Because they could have mailed it in and just given us a Friday the 13th chapter and then not doing any of this shit. They could have been like, okay, game's going to stay the exact same, but look, it's Jason. People, and they would have gone up to like 60K player base like the month after it came out. So but they didn't do that. They're doing the hard work, which I commend them for that.
And then they would have had to remove Jason a year later because the license holder got angry.
For real. Yeah.
I will say, the Naughty Bear thing as a side thing. I'm kind of surprised they didn't decide to make that its own killer. They must have been tempted.
Yeah.
I'd have been tempted. I'd be like, let's make that. Let's just do that as a thing. That would be fucking silly.
When they first brought out the Naughty Bear as like a thing, I was like, new killer? Naughty Bear killer? And then they were like, it's a trapper skin. And I was like, oh. All right, well, that's fine.
Imagine a double reveal. And we're throwing in another killer. Just for a laugh. But so that's DBD. Shall we move on to the next, maybe more dramatic?
I'll be honest, I know every single like bullet point that we went through, I was like, I have a comment about that with DBD, but I am more excited to talk about Texas Chainsaw.
Okay, perfect, because we are going to talk about the technical test.
That's right.
Where shall we start? I actually have no idea where to start with this, because there's a lot to talk about with it.
Well, basically, the Texas Chainsaw Massacre technical test came out on, was it May 26th?
Yeah, on the Friday. On the
Thursday. Friday,
Thursday the
25th. All right, and so what we got was a very bare bones version of the game that we expect to be playing in August. August 18th is the release date. They released it with, there is no matchmaking in terms of like MMR. There is no grouping, so you can't group up with your friends to play family or victim. There's one map available at the beginning of the test, and it was basically a very light amount of keys. When I did not get an initial key. I know Gary also didn't get a key off the first wave. I don't know about you, John. Were you off the first wave? Or okay, so the three of us were not on the first wave. And then I know that as of this recording, which is Sunday the 28th, like Otsdarva just got his key today, so they definitely did it lottery style. Because I would imagine they would have given Otsdarva a key day one. If
I whinged for mine.
Picking and choosing. What'd you say?
I whinged for mine.
You did.
I emailed their PR.
Did you get confirmation that's why they gave you the key, or did you just get a key?
Well, the guy sent me an email back and said you should check it now. I've set it up.
Oh wow.
So he hooked me.
Look at you. That same guy did not respond to me. I got my code from Sino. But anyways, it's fine. It's fine, Guy. If you're watching the podcast, I forgive you. Hopefully, we can still be friends.
Not. I guarantee they're not.
Yeah. Okay. So the technical test, you're able to play family or victim, or you can queue up in quick play and it'll put you in whatever they need right away. Queues have been consistently really good. And again, all perks have been disabled. All skill trees have been disabled. Grouping's been disabled. It's a very bare bones, like, get in here and help us test these servers, get in here and play the game. And then again, if you've been following the Texas Chainsaw Massacre Twitter account, they're posting like counting stats of how many times Grandpa's been stabbed, how many times the chickens have been set up. They're tracking a whole bunch of funny stuff, but they're tracking this stuff, so they're paying attention. I estimate, based on what they've talked about and what we've seen in game that we can't access yet, and what we've seen in game we can't access, we're seeing about 20, maybe 30% of the actual game is just what we're testing out right now.
Yeah,
and then over the course,
because when you do set up to join a lobby, you get one of the 4 survivors, you get one of the 3 victims and family members, and you don't get to pick them. You just get one.
You don't get to choose, so you just get one randomly. Yeah, and then again, like, there doesn't seem to be any rhyme or reason to it. I for some reason get the cook constantly, which is like my least favorite one to play.
What's his name? The
Leland.
Leland, you get him a lot.
I get Leland like 90% of my family or my
I'm in the same boat. I usually get Cook, and then I usually get Connie.
She's the lockpick girl.
Yes, yeah. Which is the best one.
The best victim, yes. So yeah, and so that's basically been it. It blew up immediately. People were crazy for it. The first day, I had 70,000 viewers on Twitch. When we were starting the podcast today, it was still over 40,000 viewers, I believe. With DBD sitting at 23,000 and Outlast Trials sitting at over 30K. So that's interesting.
Good for that.
So yeah, good time to be in horror, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And the reaction online to the Texas Chainsaw Massacre technical test has been... One more thing I want to say before I talk about reaction is, and I think that this is something that Gary will agree with me on, and John, I don't think you've played a whole ton, but you can just take our word for it. This has been a very, very clean technical test. Like, I have had one game-breaking bug so far. One game-breaking bug. I've played for 15 hours, I think, 13 hours, something like that. 15 hours, maybe? I don't know. My hours are important to me. 15 and a half hours. I've had one game-breaking bug that I was able to fix in-game. So it wasn't even a complete like round racer. It was one game-breaking bug. I've had a few visual bugs, but I have not experienced like maybe 4 or 5 visual bugs total in 15 hours.
Yeah,
like
I'm in a similar boat. I haven't seen any game breaking. I've seen a few visual, some UI visual ones as well. But generally, it's worked pretty well.
Very clean. The optimization is not where they want it to be, but again, it is a bare bones technical test.
Yes.
I was expecting it to be way where I heard a lot of people complaining about the optimization, and my PC is a little dated.
I did notice that like on OBS struggled with it, but my computer was fine.
Yeah. You know that OBS also struggled with Friday the 13th? Similarly, like I would get overloaded encoder, but like the quality is still good. Like it looks good, but it's definitely pushing right to the limit.
Yeah.
But I have not had any performance issues that have made the streaming experience bad or the playing experience bad. Like I've had there's a few, Gary, you talked about this earlier during my stream. Like there's a few hot zones where OBS is like,
there's one by the side door in the main house in the first level, and there's one patch, in the exit door where the generator spawns and there's that long hallway. There's a little patch of flowers. When you walk through that, it hates it. It just despises it.
There's a couple of spots. There's a couple of hot spots on the new map too, the slaughterhouse. So that's something I didn't mention is that over the course of the weekend, they opened up more and more keys. More and more players are being brought into the game, and we're seeing immaculate server stability even through them bringing in. Because I think at this point, basically everyone has a key that asks for one. Like I haven't spoken to a person since I woke up this morning that didn't have a key that wanted one. And they brought the servers down before their last key wave. And then they added a new map as well. So we got a chance to try out 2 maps. There's the family house and then the slaughterhouse. So the reception has been incredible. Like across, I have literally spoken to 2 people that have a negative first impression so far. And I'm literally on a podcast with them right now. So I'm looking forward to talking to you guys about this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. I mean, I would like to I'm not negative. To be clear, I just have concerns, which make sense. It's a technical test. They should get feedback of things they need to improve on before it goes for a full release. Some of which is possibly down to the fact that it's a technical test, but other things, from a design perspective, I would like to see adjusted. But yeah, generally, like it's been very positive. Like, and I've got a list of cons, but I've also got a list of positives. Like, I would argue that my positives maybe outweigh the negatives, but John, if you dare say you don't love this game, people act like you hate it for some reason. Because the ASYM community, as Doug was saying earlier, are weird.
Wait, am I people? Are you calling me people right now? Are you putting me with people, Gary?
You are, Doug. You are people. You're good people, though.
I'm not going to interrupt you for too long, Gary. But
you go, John.
Clarify, because I'll go after you. But I just want to clarify, I don't dislike the game. I dislike the technical test.
Thank you.
That's actually we only talked briefly before the podcast started, but that's very important context for me in terms. I didn't know that you were having a negative first impression of the actual technical test. I thought you were like overall within game dissatisfied, and that was to me like concerning.
Yeah.
I'm not happy with how the technical test has gone down. But sorry, go ahead, Gary.
Let's hear from the pink.
So should I say what I like first, and then we can discuss that?
Scowie.
No, start with the cons to get me nice and riled up, and then maybe you'll calm me down when we talk about the pros.
Okay. So one of the things that I didn't overly like from the victim's perspective is there is no real reason to work together. You are an independent agent in that environment as a victim for the most part, unless you go for one of the trickier doors. But for the most part, you're better off independently kind of letting them hopefully distract the family whilst you go for the generator or something. I feel like I would like a bit more reason to work together, but I do accept that could just be because I'm running solo queue. Maybe if I'm running with my friends, I'll have a reason to save them, but I think solo queue is a really important factor of these kind of games. Like DBD is reliant on solo queue, so I want that experience to feel better, and I have no real reason to work with my teammates at the moment. Doug, this will be like quite interesting actually to hear Doug like counter.
Are you okay with me doing that? I was going to ask if I come in and talk about your points.
This is what we should do. Yeah.
Okay, I'm great. I'm so happy to talk about this because I think that in the brilliance of Wes Keltner and Gun Media, that's literally how they want it to be. Like we're seeing an ASIM where for the first time that role is reversed, where it's like teamwork is not essential to playing victim. Teamwork is in fact in some cases going to be detrimental to playing the victims, right? And so it's like a role reversal because the killers now are like super dependent on each other, and the victims are just like doing their own thing. Like if the victims are off all doing something different, then the family is even more inclined to work together. And they've actually built into the game, the cook's entire kit centers around figuring out where people are at, what they're doing, and then passing that along to your more fast and more aggressive family types. The cook is responsible for getting grandpa powered up so that they all can get auras. Like I think it's brilliant if it like beyond like, because again, if the game is balanced around solo queue being solo queue, then you would argue that solo queue is going to be the most rewarding as a survivor perspective in terms of all the ASIMs. It's going to actually be Texas Chainsaw. Perhaps the game's actually designed for that. It's designed for solo queue.
Yeah. Well, perhaps it could be a UX thing, which most of my issues with the game do come down to user experience. So when I bump into one of my teammates and they go, "Thank God you're alive," and then they just stop. There's like no interaction. There's nothing to do with them. I just want something. I don't have to be reliant on teamwork. I don't want to be reliant on teamwork. It's a nightmare in DBD sometimes. But I would like some interaction. There's none. There's no reason for me to give a shit if someone dies.
I'd argue that there's not none. And again, that might be just because I've played more. But you can definitely, especially like, let me give you a hypothetical. As you're playing as Anna, who is like the tanky survivor, the tanky victim, right? She take a lot of hits. I always call it Anna because I want to sound fancy, but I can call it Anna if you'd like. Anna. So you run you're Anna, and you run into a Connie, and you're Anna, and you were in the midst of getting a lockpick, and then you see Connie roll up. And you're like, whoa, I'm gonna let you do this because you having a lockpick is like huge stonks in terms of like, because the lockpick mechanic makes it so you can open doors, lock doors, and open gates super fast. And so then at that point, Anna and Connie take their way towards the back exit where the battery is hooked up, right? And you got Anna who jumps on the battery to disable it. Connie's waiting with her key. Here comes one of the family members. They spotted you. Then you take Anna, run and get into a chase, pull them away from the battery so that Connie can get that gate open, escape, and then you get out. Like that
sounds like a way better way for the game to be. But that sounds like something that will be like you'd either have to be in comms, which is one of my issues with the game as well. I don't want to. It's literally built in.
It's literally built in.
Yeah, but I don't want to do comms. I don't want to talk to randoms.
Okay.
I don't want to talk to people. Like,
so you want to have organized, fun team play, but you want to not have to talk to anyone.
I want pings. Like, I don't need to be deadly organized. And again, I'm not even saying I need to be organized. I just want some interaction built in. Like right now, you're saying that I have to just create all of the interaction with the players. Like,
well, you can have that whole interaction without voice comms too. Like you don't necessarily have to be in voice comms to have somebody intuitively understand that they're on the tanky survivor.
But then, from a solo queue perspective, the game is encouraging me to be independent and not rely on teammates at all. And then that's not going to happen. Then is it?
You don't have to rely on teammates, but then when you can, it makes it even better.
It's just an issue for me that I think there's a lack of interaction. I mean, there should be some. I don't need it to be deadly reliant on each other.
But there is though. You can get a bone shard and come up and save somebody who's in chase, somebody who's getting grabbed by the hitchhiker. Come up and pop that guy to get them away.
Well, I didn't know you could do that because
you can.
The technical test is not the best at explaining everything you can do. But
what?
But yeah, so like I would like to see more interaction personally, like a simpler one where I haven't got to organize people in a swift comm mode.
I'm going to say this.
Issues with the game is that I don't want to rely on comms.
That's fair. One of the things I will say, and I'm going to try not. This is not meant to sound cunty, so I'm just going to.
Oh, this is going to sound real cunty.
It might, but like, we are playing the game without any of the skill trees or without any of.
I know.
Oh
no, I completely know.
Like, all this could be remedied.
Yeah,
it could be remedied really fast.
A lot of my problems I accept could be remedied through like other things. Like we'll get to that in a second. But yeah, you're right. There could be things that are on the horizon to fix it. But I'm saying like right now that is a concern. I hope that gets fixed. And yeah, I don't want to rely on voice comms because I hated that in VHS. That was a game that needed to use voice comms if you played.
You didn't though. They had a great ping system in that game, and you
that's true. That's true. You could do it. But I tell you what, Texas Chainsaw doesn't have a ping system.
True. In their first 3-day technical test, they don't have a ping system yet.
But that's why I'm saying I would like to see a ping system so that it's in the full build, Doug. I can understand everyone's being like, this game's great. That's great. But if we all just say it's fine and perfect, then they won't add a ping system. Then I will.
It's great without the ping system because maybe they never will. Because maybe that's the design idea in the first place is that they want to make. Because again, if they add pings and they make every victim super able to like hyper coordinate every single thing they're doing, then we're gonna run into similar balance problems where it's just like, well, an organized 4-man is gonna always escape forever, right? Like I think that maybe
because they've got pings, aren't they already? Aren't they already going to have if you're in a comm, the Swift issue you're describing happens because they're in comms.
It could. I'm just saying.
Wasn't it?
I don't know if teamwork.
Voice chat?
No, it's not. Absolutely not. Nope. Victim only hears other victims, and family only hears other family.
I thought the family could speak to. No,
I meant like the victims with each other though. It's not global voice chat.
It's global.
Is it?
So if I'm in the basement, I can hear somebody.
Wait, actually, I haven't played enough Victim to know. Is Victim proximity based?
I assume it's proximity. I haven't.
I assume.
Yeah, it's pointless though with Discord being a thing. But yeah, I don't know. I never noticed that before. But I've played like 12 hours of family and only like 3 hours of Victim. So I don't know.
I don't know, unfortunately, because I turned voice chat off immediately because there was just a guy monologuing on an open mic in my lobby, and I was like, I'm not dealing with that, so I just turned it off.
Yeah.
But I watched a couple of videos, and it seemed like it might be proximity, but I couldn't tell.
I assumed it was proximity, because that would make it more interesting.
Yeah. Well, it was like one of the best things about Friday the 13th was proximity voice chat, so...
So, other things that I didn't love about the game, when I kill a survivor, or when I kill a victim, it feels a little underwhelming, and this could be remedied, Doug, before you get angry at me. This could be remedied just because there's no progression system in yet, so there's no prize for doing anything in the game. But right now, as a base game, when I win as one of the family members, or if I escape as a victim, or I die as a victim, it always feels kind of like, Like there's just no, but that could be because there's no like prize at the end of the match. But then at the same time, the game itself isn't as rewarding from a gameplay perspective as I'd like.
That's insane.
Whereas like when you win
like when I escape as victim, it feels so, because it's so hard and it's so stressful that when you get out, I feel like $1 million cash, Gary.
I just walk out and go, and then it shows me the other people still playing the game, like, and I just move on.
Yeah, I move on too because I'm ready to go dunk on another family. But like, yeah, I think it feels great, especially, and I think that the winning his family when you're working with your dude, if you're with Bubba and you're the hitchhiker and you're like, all right, pinch him on this, like, we're on side garden, pinch him on the vault, and he pinches, and I come in, I get him, and I
can imagine with comms again. With
so
comms,
good.
If I was playing this with comms and I wanted to talk to randoms, I bet it's a lot more fun playing family. And when I play with you guys, it'll be a blast. But in solo queue,
I will say I am really looking forward to when we actually get to play as a group, because in this technical test, if you're listening and you didn't know this, it's solo queue only. Now you can stream snipe each other or whatever. Yeah. You can't snipe each other in the lobby, but it's solo queue only, so you can't queue up with your friends. Which I understand why they did it, but it is a different game to play solo than it is with a group.
Yeah, agreed. And side note, if you guys think that the rampant group complaining and solo queue complaining issues in DBD are bad with DBD. Like imagine with Texas Chainsaw where the game is literally balanced around playing in a Swift or playing in a kill with friends. Like the solo experience on both sides is gonna suffer. That's one thing that I can say is like could be a concern for the game is like a lot of people don't have friends that they want to play this game with. There's a lot of people that are, really they want to play their horror asym and all their friends are playing Overwatch and stuff, right? And that I do think that the solo player on both sides, I think that solo family is going to be more frustrating because again, we've talked.
I agree. I do agree with you. Yeah.
Because solo victim is you can pretty much do it on your own if you need to, but solo family is going to be rough, man.
To clarify, all of my concerns are solo. Like, all of these things go away when I play with friends. Like, I am very much excited to play this game with you guys, Sinnoh, anyone. Like, I think it'd be really, really fun as a group, like as a group game to play with my friends.
Well, solo experience, we're just like anyone. We're just like anyone. He says, play with you, Sinnoh, anyone. Okay. Thank you for putting me in the anyone category, Gary.
Oh, I'm sorry, Doug.
Anyone else? Literally anyone.
Literally, if you're listening, hit me up.
Yeah. Just hit me up because Doug's busy. I also, another concern that I have with the game is sometimes it can sort of get to a slug's pace at times, especially when there's one victim. When there's one victim left and you're playing as the family and you just can't find them and the cook's not doing their job because it's solo queue. Sometimes it's like you just kind of stood around running back and forth, and sometimes even when there's all of the victims alive, or vice versa, sometimes like one of the worst matches I had, I won. I just walked out as a victim. I was like, no one interacted with me. No one. They haven't charged the generator. I just walked out.
Yeah, and that's just new player syndrome there. I think that situation probably won't be as bad. Give it a few weeks after the game comes out and people understand the very basics. But I don't disagree with that too. Like with that con, I'm not going to argue. Like there have been rounds for me too where it's like,
no, it's perfect, Doug.
Where I never said it was perfect. I just said it's so good, and it's gonna be so good. Like it's just, I have so much more faith in this game after playing the technical test. And again, we've gotten maybe 20% of the game so far.
Yes,
but you're not wrong. Solo queue is going to be a concern, and pacing can definitely be an issue if you get a couple of your victim teammates die early, and it's like you and one other person, and you basically like aren't working together. And they're also not, because like it's not so bad if the family is really good because they'll find you and smother you and you're good. But like if they're also bad, you can get in this situation like who's the least bad. We're hiding and trying to get stuff, and they're not finding us. If I'm the
last one and it's like taking a long time, I'm like, oh, let me just move on. I'll get into a different, because like the fun bit's kind of past.
Yeah. I will say in all of my victim games, the last person alive was when the game was like over. Last person alive, they both gave up. Like they would just like stand in the middle of the yard and teabag until the killer killed them, Cook or the Leatherface or whoever. So I do think that's probably just the weakest part that I experienced in the game as far as like how it's designed. It's last victim standing doesn't seem to really have much of a chance.
But yeah, that's most of my like thing. Like I also don't like the grandpa cutscene every match. That's a really small detail though. That's like very minimal complaint.
Oh yeah, like every time he wakes up, it zooms in on his face.
Because usually I'm doing something. Action. I'm like, go away for a second. I'm in the middle. So my biggest concerns is like casual players, especially for the solo queue experience, could be affected by this in a negative way. Because I want the game to succeed. I want it to do great. I love when I play like if I go through my list of pros, like it's massive. Like I love the atmosphere in the game, especially playing Victim. I much prefer the atmosphere in the early game of playing Victim. But I also like really hunting people down as the cook or the hitchhiker in particular. I really like the hitchhiker, setting my traps. Really satisfying when I hear a trap go off and I go, okay, let me go check them, and then I find someone and it just feels really great. Like Bob is probably my least favorite to play at the moment because he is still fun. Like I like chasing after when you rev your chainsaw and get all quick with it. Oh, it's great. I like the setting the generators up and having that pre-game setup time, especially as the cook. I love the padlocks. Maybe my favorite bit, setting those 3 doors locked. I really enjoy that, and as you say, there's so much with Victim. Like generally, I love most of it. I just worry about certain elements of the game where I don't know if I'll enjoy the solo queue experience as much as I'd like to.
Mm-hmm. Doug's just shaking his head.
He looks disappointed. I think, Doug, do you kind of see where I'm coming from? And you,
I mean, I understand. I agree that like the solo queue experience will be weaker than playing with friends, but like I also think that this game has the potential to have the most rewarding solo queue experience in any team-based ASIM. Like for Survivor, I honestly am going to come back to it, and I'll die on this hill that they had intention to make Victim kind of a do it alone, go it alone kind of thing possible. Like I honestly think that's what they wanted it to be. They wanted
that's fair, and it could be that I'm plagued by
where the
ASIMs.
Yeah,
my brain is too programmed.
Because go in. Tell me that you honestly think you'd prefer teamwork to be essential.
I don't want essential.
Then go play DBD, and then go play Evil Dead, where the solo queue experience can have the ability to break you as a human being. Gary, I've been in games with you.
It's not so much that I want teamwork to be essential. I just want some more interaction.
I just think, and I also think it's nice that you really can't have one family, one victim completely throw a match for you. Outside of the fact that they actually can intentionally sandbag you if they want. Like, they can turn the electric fence back on, which is kind of funny, I think.
I've sandbagged teammates to be like, go for them, I'm trying to escape.
I did too. I slammed the door on a Leland earlier today. I'm like, go fuck yourself, Leland. You brought him to me.
What you doing?
Yeah.
So yeah, like I'm very happy with the game itself. I just think there's room for like little improvements that I think could improve the quality of life for everybody.
And yeah. Wet blanket Gary strikes again. Okay.
I don't like. This is the thing. Like, everyone acts like I'm saying the game's shit. And I don't see. I can't. How I can go through a list of all these things that I love about the game.
You know how Gun.
Here's some things that I would like to see improved. It's like, oh, Gary, you just hate it.
You know how Gun Media could have gotten Gary on their side with this technical test. Is that they had created it in a way that everyone else didn't like it as much. And then Gary would be like, this is amazing. It's the best thing I've ever played. But, the overwhelming positive reaction, Gary's got to make a cons list.
That's what I based my opinion on.
Everybody saying Chainsaw Massacre is great. I think it's shit.
So infuriating to talk to people who can't fucking have a conversation.
I told you guys, we talked about this before the podcast. I didn't go to college, Gary. I have a hard time with conversations. All right, it's not my fault.
I like that everyone loves it because I want this game to do well. I just want to be able to love it a little bit more. And I see little things that I would just adapt a little bit, and I think they could improve the game, the user experience for a lot more people, which will bring more casual players to it, which will mean it will do well, it will make more money, and then it will get bigger and do better. That's all I want. I want it to thrive. I don't want my niche little player base that likes voice comm and stuff. I don't want Friday 13th system. I don't want that again. Friday 13th had a niche player base. It had a dedicated player base, but it was niche. I want this to have mass appeal.
It wasn't a niche player base. It was a player base that never got to fully form. And that game still is a top performing ASIM 6 years after their last content update. Like, I think it's a game that relies on playing just because you didn't like Friday the 13th doesn't make that a bad game, Gary. I'm sorry.
It's a bad game. It's just not
it's a niche game. You want to know why it's a niche game? Because they lost the license after 3 months. That's the only reason it's a niche game. It'd be massive right now.
Whenever I hear people say about their favorite moments in that game, it's always when they're playing with their friends.
I had a lot of fun solo queue in that game. I only streamed solo queue.
I'm just saying that I would like this game to just think about solo players just a little bit more. I don't know why that's so poisonous to the game.
Teasing Gary aside, I don't think I fundamentally disagree with any of the changes that he would like to see made. And also, this is something that I was thinking about earlier today.
Fuck you.
What the fuck happened there? What did I even say?
You're riling me up.
All right,
say, actually, I kind of agree with you. Fuck you.
I'm just saying I don't fundamentally disagree with any. I'm just think you're being a bitch is the only thing. But what I was gonna say is what excites me is we already understand. I don't know. Again, we talked about conjecture a few times today, but one of the things that Behavior has talked about is that when we play the PTB, they prep the PTB out like well in advance in the development cycle. Like things that we test can be completely different in 3 weeks when they release the full build. So we're testing a technical test that I'm sure they put a lot of time and effort into preparing months ago. So we don't even know what from the technical test is like already outdated, already not like a thing anymore. Like,
which
you know what I mean?
I
So
completely
it's like
understand.
it's super exciting to think about the fact that like not only is the game probably in a much better place today, you know, on the build that's going to go live, but they still got a couple months to work on it with our feedback.
Well, for example, those visual bugs that we've been seeing, I guarantee those are a product of them reducing the size of the game and cutting this bit out, and like something's been left out. Like it's just like something's gone wrong. Like it's not because it doesn't work in the build they're working on. It's probably because they've reduced it for the technical test.
Yeah,
like
this
is a cut down version of the game. So
yeah,
there's a reason people are hacking other killers into the game, because the data is there, because they've just taken a slice of the game.
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, so generally, I like the game. Those are just my suggestions. And I'm glad that you understand my perspective, Doug.
He doesn't fundamentally disagree.
No.
I don't fundamentally disagree. I mean, I do think you're being kind of a baby about voice comms, and I mean, like,
no, it's not just me. Like, not everyone wants voice comms. Like,
get good and you won't need them. Yeah,
I know enough women that have no interest in voice comms in online games because it's fucking horrible.
True.
Right.
So I'm like, yeah, your game cannot rely on voice comms because you start isolating people that don't want to talk to people. They want to be able to. They want to be able to enjoy their video game,
and
casually,
as an
without being
accessibility,
abused online. So
further
as
an
accessibility thing.
Further the accessibility argument. I agree with you on that as well. Like if you make people rely on voice comms, it's kind of similar to how audio was like the primary way to track in VHS, and then it was like, well, what about people that have issues with discerning audio? So, yeah.
I want everyone to be able to enjoy their game without feeling like uneasy.
Fair point.
Yeah. John, okay if I talk about my...
Yes, John. I've been eager for yours. We've got me and Doug battling back.
So I wanted you guys to talk first because you have a lot more experience with it than I do. So I just played it like just before the podcast, like a couple hours before. I only played about an hour. So just want to get out ahead and say that. It's because I was out of town when the technical test began, so I missed all that stuff. So I just played it today. And so my complaints with it have more to do with the technical test than with the game itself. So I loaded the game up, and right away I was feeling kind of like, oh, that's a little weird, because I was like, as soon as I get onto the main menu, I always am like, where are the options? And you can't access the options from the main menu. I know it's going to be different in the main game when that comes out, but for the technical test, I was like, you know, I want to turn voice chat off. I want to turn the graphics down. I want to make sure everything's like, you know, motion blurs off, all that stuff. Just like I want before I go in. And they didn't have that available. So that right away, I was like, okay. And I was like, I guess I'll check out the tutorials. And I was expecting it to drop me into a gameplay tutorial, like most games do. But instead, it was a video tutorial for both sides. And it went by very quickly. You could pause it, you know, so you could fully ingest it. But, you know, it just taught you the basic mechanics of the game. Like, you know, as survivors, you start in the basement. You got to get out of the basement. You got to escape. You got to, you know, find the water valve, do all this stuff. And as the family, you're trying to, you know, lock doors and, you know, prevent the survivors from escaping, the victims. And so I was like, okay, I get it. And then I was like, well, kind of sucks that I'm able to just like dive in. I guess I'll just queue up. And so I queued up as victim first, and I got to the pre-game lobby, and as you guys know, you can't choose your character. It automatically just chooses your character for you. And I'm just put onto this screen with like a countdown, and everybody's like rating up, and I'm the only one that's not rated up, and I'm like, well, wait, hang on a second, what am I even looking at? Because I'm like, I click on all the tabs. It's like, you can't choose your character. You can't change your loadout. The skill tree is not available. It seems like there's no options. And I was like, what am I even on this screen for, right? And so I was like, I guess I'll just ready up, you know, because I'm like looking for information. I'm not getting it. And so then I just get thrown into the game, and I'm in the basement, strung up, right? And like, I looked at the options screen while I was on there, and I looked at the controls because I was like, I want to know the controls before I go in. But there's no controls for mouse and keyboard. It's only controller, which I find a bit strange considering it's a PC-only technical test. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. So I thought that was really weird because I was like, well, I don't know what any of the controls are. I was like, whatever, I'll just dive in. I'm sure I can figure it out. So right away, you know, I'm pressing E, and I noticed that as you struggle out of your change, it makes noise. And I was like, oh, well, I don't know if I want to make noise. And the guy next to me is, of course, just mashing it and making as much noise as possible. And then I was like, well, I guess, you know, we start in the basement anyway, whatever. So I like mash it out. I'm like, I'm out too. And then I'm crouching around. I'm like, okay, I don't want to make noise. I know that from watching the tutorial. And I'm like walking around. I walk for about 15 seconds or so, and I see something to interact with. And I'm like, oh, it was like, I think it was a toolbox. And I was like, I want to get a tool. And so I go over there and I start messing with it. Bubba comes up right behind me and chainsaws me. And I was like, oh shit. And I start running, and I'm like running around the basement. I'm like, I have no idea. Like, are there loops? Are there, you know, is there any way to get away from Bubba? And Bubba kills me 25 seconds into the match. And that was my first experience playing the technical test. And so right away I was like, okay, you know, that was not fun at all. And I feel like I was just dropped in with no preparation, and I would have much preferred to have a gameplay tutorial, like I said, instead of watching a video, because like it tells you the game mechanics, but then it just drops you in and you're like, well, I don't know where any of the objectives are or anything, right? And so I watched the rest of the match, and the victims just get destroyed. They just got destroyed. And when it came down to the last victim, like I said earlier, they just teabagged in the middle of the yard and got killed by, I think, the cook. And I was just like, okay, well, that wasn't really a great example of things. And so I was like, I'll queue up again. I'll play as victim again. And this time I played Anna. Oh, I think I played Leland the first time. I can't remember.
Why didn't you punch Bubba, John?
Yeah,
you should have used your power that was clearly explained, right? Yeah.
That's the thing. I was on the lobby, and it was talking about character abilities, and I was like, abilities? What abilities?
Yeah.
And everyone that I observed in that last game that I talked about, no one used an ability that I could see.
I keep forgetting they're there when I'm playing it.
And that's one thing, the video tutorial, like, I think it mentions abilities, but it doesn't say how to use them or what character has what or anything. And like I said, there's no controls to look at. So every victim game I played, I didn't use any abilities. I didn't know how to use them or what they did. And so I played as Anna, and like you said, she was tanky, which I figured out. So I lasted like 5 minutes. I got out into the yard. I lasted a little bit longer this time. It's because I hid in the closet until Bubba came down and like destroyed one of the other survivors, and then I just worked on a door while he was
watch them get obliterated. You're like, right now I'll leave.
Yes, exactly. That's exactly what
That's
happened.
how I play
This
it,
guy
so.
he started working on the door, and then Bubba came up and started chainsawing him, and he was like, and he started running away, and then I was like, I'll just work on the door instead, and that because I wanted to get out of the basement, right? And so I got into the basement, and I'm like, great, and I'm like, where do I go? What do I do? Because I know from watching the video tutorials that you gotta find the water valve, or you can find the whatever. And so I'm like, I guess I'll look around for that stuff. The hitchhiker finds me immediately. And I learned the hard way that you can't really, the hitchhiker can go everywhere that you can. And so like I was finding these little crawl spaces, and I was like, oh, I'll crawl into there. He won't be able to get past me, because I saw somebody do that to the cook in the previous game. And imagine my surprise when the hitchhiker crawls through the crawl space after me. And I learned the hard way that that's what the hitchhiker's supposed to do, is he's the relentless chaser, right?
Mm.
And so basically I'm running from the hitchhiker for like 2.5 minutes. And I keep running past the well, which I didn't realize if you go down the well, like that's an escape route. Because that's not something that's explained in the video tutorial, or if it was, I missed it. And so I ended up going down first again.
That's a good point, actually. I think I only knew about that myself because, well, doing the podcast, we've spoken about it in the past, and I remembered from discussing my research. But that was, that's a good point.
Yeah, so I ran past the well, just like not thinking about it. I was thinking about it kind of like DBD, which I know is a mistake. But I just was looking for a way to like lose the hitchhiker. I was like, I can't lose this guy. And eventually, I think he pushed me into the cook who killed me, is what happened. And then I was like, fine, I'll play family. I want to see what this is like. And so I got the cook, and it's a similar problem of like, I spawned into the house and I was like, great, what do I do? And so I was like, well, they're in the basement, right? I'll go down to the basement. So I went down to the basement, and I was going to open it up, and it was like, no, you can't until Grandpa's awake. And I was like, well, where the fuck is Grandpa? And so I wandered around the house for like 3 minutes being like, where's Grandpa? I went all the way to the top floor. I was looking around. I was like, he's not here. He's not in the attic. Sorry, go ahead, Doug.
Typical solo queue cook. Right, Gary? Like, oh, where's Grandpa? What do I do? I'm going to the basement. I'm going to go help Bubba. Like, this is so great. I'm going to let you continue because this has been my favorite part of the podcast so far.
This is amazing.
Listening to you recount being a brand new player put into a game with a dog shit tutorial and like no on-screen help at all. Because like we were all there. And when I did it, I did this shit on stream. So I had like 100 people in chat being like, do this, do that, do this. Like I said no spoilers.
Everything. I told him to leave me alone and figure it out. So I suffered this very similar thing, John, where I didn't get it.
I figured it would be a completely different experience, just like booting it up by yourself than with stream chat. Yeah.
This is my favorite thing. Keep going. Yeah, keep going.
I'm glad we had completely different experiences. Yeah. So I got Cook, and I didn't realize this at the time. I watched some YouTube videos later where everybody was like, "The Cook fucking sucks. Nobody wants to play the Cook. Everybody dodges the Cook when they get them in queue." And I was like,
the Cook.
"Oh,
it's fun."
Doug and I are not surprised that you have an opinion against the grain, Gary. So yeah, I was playing the Cook and I couldn't find Grandpa. I couldn't find him because in the movies, isn't Grandpa in the attic? And I was like, surely he's in the attic. Yeah, and so I look up there and I was like, am I missing something? He's not here. And then I finally find him. Of course, by this point, like the survivors have escaped the basement and all that crap. And like Grandpa, he woke up by himself, I guess. I didn't know if I was supposed to go wake him up or what. But I encountered Survivor and I was like, ooh. And I hit him a couple times and I got some blood and I was like, all right, I know what to do. I'll feed this blood to Grandpa. They lost me, by the way, in a really shitty way. It was a Leland player and they went to the attic and they got to a point where I couldn't get them. They vaulted that desk with the barbed wire or whatever that only Bubba can break. But I didn't realize that. So I'm just sitting there like hitting it like an idiot. Like, is this a pallet that I can break or something? Because, of course, the tutorial doesn't fucking tell you anything about that. And then I was like, okay, well, and then I went into the room next to it and I couldn't go through the crawl space because only the hitchhiker could do that. And then I was just like trapped. I couldn't get to him. And I was like, well, this fucking sucks because I can't communicate with the Bubba. By the way, I haven't seen the hitchhiker the entire game at this point. They're just gone. I don't know. I never saw them the entire round. The entire round never saw the hitchhiker. And so I go down, I'm like, well, I lost the chase, but I guess I'll go feed blood to Grandpa. And so I fed some blood to Grandpa, and I collected some from buckets, and I kept like listening in between, because that's his ability, right? You know, I hear something. I didn't hear shit. I used it, and I was like, well, this thing came up where it was like a waveform, but I expected there to be like an aura reading or some sort of like they're over here type of thing, but I didn't see anything. Did you ever figure it out how it works? Because they don't explain it at all. But like basically when you start to get the waveform, you want to like kind of dial in on where they're at, and then eventually it'll suck in and then give you the aura. Like it'll like track. Are you serious? So, yeah, so you use it like the direction that the waveform goes is like the direction you want to be moving to try and find where the victim is at. They don't explain that at all. God. They don't explain that at all. That's something you either have to figure out on your own or have a Twitch chat tell you. But yeah, because I was using it and I was just like, I know there's someone in the area. How am I not seeing them right now?
I do think they can stop as well. So if they stop moving and stuff, you can't hear them.
Oh yeah. Like I was like listening, and then I was like, I feel like an idiot. I was just like, nothing's happening. And so I feed Grandpa's level 1 by this point. So I'm like, great, now we can get some aura reading. And I don't know if we were just playing with cracked survivors or what, but Grandpa didn't give us anything. I didn't see anybody anywhere.
If they stop moving during his little roar, you get nothing.
Yeah, right. And so I'm getting bored because I'm like, I don't know where anybody is, and I don't know really what I'm doing. I just found Grandpa, you know. I'm way late on this. The team's probably like, what's up with this cook, man? This cook sucks. And so I go outside, and I'm like, maybe they're already outside. Holy shit. I go outside, and I get this really awful cryptic message. Grandpa is in danger. And I was like, what? Grandpa's in danger? And so, of course, you're the cook, and I didn't realize this, but I was like, this guy's so fucking slow. So I'm trudging back. I'm like waddling back into the house to go check on Grandpa. I get in there. Nobody's there. Grandpa's fine. He's exactly like he was. I listen. I don't see anybody. And then I'm just sitting there getting frustrated. I was like, I guess I'll go collect more blood from a pot over here or whatever. And then it's like, well, the survivors escaped. And I was like, what? I saw one person, and he went to a place where I couldn't get him, and I didn't know where Grandpa was. It said Grandpa was in danger. No, I don't know how my ability works. And then the game ended, and I had the least amount of points.
Good job.
And then I was like,
you did great.
I'm gonna wait until the podcast. I think I'm done for now.
You only got to play Cook?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Can I just say, Cook is fun. He's just he's a support role. Like he's not good in chase, and that can be frustrating. But he can be fun when you get the hearing and your teammates actually use that information. It's nice.
Yeah. I imagine the Cook is great if I was in a voice call with you guys.
Yes. Yep. Yeah. This game's gonna be great in voice call.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was already like a little frustrated. I was like, oh, it's solo queue only? Oh, I didn't know that, you know.
Before I heard Gary talk about his qualms of the game, one of my biggest asks would be if when you're playing Cook, being able to ping the survivors that you get ears on, even if it didn't show the aura, just being able to ping where they're at, because like that's the critical information you pass to your team when you see somebody. You're like, okay, yeah, she's down below kitchen, or she's like, you know, she's up in the attic, or he's out next to generator. Like you can get that information and pass it along, because the Cook is not meant to chase. Like you saw that spot that you were talking about upstairs. That's how the game is designed. That's the way the game is designed. You need to like call to your teammates to come help you, and you pinch them off. Like you go on one side,
right,
and then they go on the other side, and that way they have nowhere to go anymore. There are a bunch of infinites in the game where people can infinite loop you, even as Hitchhiker, even being able to go through crawl spaces and cracks and stuff like that. You can still be infinited pretty easily. You literally will not be able to catch someone if you don't have a second person to help you, and that's by design, I think.
Right.
So
yeah.
But yeah, going in with like no tutorial, no on-screen help, and playing what I think is the most challenging character to do well with, the Cook. I think the Cook is the hardest character. Gary, would you agree?
Oh yeah. Like I've had some real.
Yeah.
He's got a learning curve, and most of the time you're basically just kind of a block. You stand somewhere to make the survivor be stuck for someone else to get the fun.
See, that's the thing. Is like I said, I didn't see the hitchhiker the entire game. As far as I'm concerned, we didn't even have a hitchhiker. I don't know. And then I saw Bubba a couple times, and he wasn't doing much either. He certainly didn't break that thing upstairs in the attic. So I was just kind of running around, and then like quote not hearing anybody. Apparently I just didn't know how it worked. So yeah, I did not have a great time with the Cook, but it's refreshing and validating to know that he's challenging to play, especially solo with no communication. That makes me feel better, because I said out loud to myself as I was walking around outside, I was like, why am I so shit at this? I said that out loud to myself. I was just like, I feel like I'm just not getting something about this. This is horrible.
I would say it's a tough game to get to grips with, because there is a lack of information given to you, which is, it's a technical test. I think this is mostly about them stress testing their servers and getting a little bit of feedback about the gameplay.
Right. Yeah, I get that.
I completely understand your thought. I had that for like the first 2 hours of my stream. I was like, I don't get it. Like it was a light bulb went off for me as a victim, and I realized, and you had it a little bit today, Doug, when you rapidly press space to run.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my god, I've been running.
I didn't get.
Yeah, I've been running wrong for hours.
that thing you taught me, Gary, where if you hold down the button to channel, like you channel up and then you let it off, and you can hold it down and get right to the noise level before it makes noise. You don't. I thought you just tap and tap,
which took me a while to realize.
I was tapping it,
because like when it goes a little bit red, you're like, oh, I'm making noise. But it's not. It's only when it.
But there's an audio cue right before it starts making noise too. So it's kind of like the skill check sound on DBD. Like you can hear a little thing to let you know you need to stop.
Because it goes a little red, I'm like, am I making noise now? I don't know. So it's like there's a lot of UX stuff that needs work in the game, which is probably where I got the most. Because like UX is one of my favorite things in game design. So when you see these little red flags of like that needs work, that needs work, that needs work, that needs work, it's a little annoying. Because the game, as you said, Doug, the gameplay's fun when you get it. When you start to get it, the gameplay can be really fun. As I say, there is lull moments where it's like just walking back and forth and kind of waiting. But like when you actually get to play the game, or when you're a victim and you're hiding and you know what you're trying to get to, because the maps are quite confusing as well. Once you understand where you're going a little more, it's much better. But my concern with how you felt, John, is that if the game feels like that for a new player when it comes out without adjusting things, they're going to turn it off.
I understand that this is a technical test and stuff. I guess I just I wish there was a gameplay tutorial, because I would have felt much better in that quick match if I had been able to drop in as the cook and at least see where Grandpa is and like where the objectives are, and like get familiar with where I was.
If you press middle mouse button, it gives you like a area of effect, like wall.
Yeah, where you can find.
You can see Grandpa and you can see the blood bins and stuff like that. They didn't tell you that either, but that's another thing.
What?
Yeah, middle mouse button is like gives you like killer tracking, where it like shows like auras.
I didn't use.
Yeah, you can see where your teammates are and where
I didn't use that a single time.
Are. Yeah.
Yeah.
I barely use it. I know it's there now. It's hard to remember.
Okay, I got it. Yeah, because I just feel like that would have really improved the experience. And I guess this is just a technical test, and the full game is going to have like a much more fully fleshed out features like that. Yeah. Hopefully a gameplay tutorial, because I feel like you really need it. Like just dropping in and being like, I don't even know what my mouse and keyboard controls are because they're not listed. It felt kind of. It's just not a great way to get introduced to the game. Really, is my thing.
I will say it's a much more complicated game to look at and understand than like.
Yeah.
I'll use DBD as an example, but VHS is another one where it's fairly easy to you look at it and you know what you're doing. Go to the colorful table, build a weapon, try kill monster, kill.
Right.
Like
yeah.
Whereas there's a lot more nuance to this. Like Bubba and the hitchhiker have to kill someone upstairs because Cook, no chance. Go get blood.
Yeah.
Go lock a door.
Yeah.
There's a lot more to it, which
Yeah, because I'd seen the cook like Mori before, and so I mistakenly, when I was playing him, thought that he was like, that's kind of what he was good for, was a chaser. But yeah, that's obviously not what he is, because I was chasing the survivors and I was like, they're so fucking fast. What the hell? Like,
especially when they start pressing the space button a lot. Bloody hell.
Yeah, that's when I played Victim. I was just holding down shift and it was like spacebar, and I was like, what? I was just like tapping it, and I was like, does it matter what rhythm I tap it in, or should I hold it down? Or I couldn't figure that out either.
Do you know the worst feelings? When you do all the damage to a victim as one of the family members, and then they walk away, and another family member just walks out and goes, "Oh, Maury, I kill." Like, I've just done all the work. I've been chasing them for ages.
Kill steal.
Especially when you're the cook. It's like, oh, I've been working so hard for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the flip side is when you cut somebody off as cook and you get to steal Bubba's kill that he worked so fucking hard on.
That's true.
Like,
yeah.
Don't mind if I do, big guy. Don't mind if I do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I will say, like, when I was able to like take a breather and I wasn't, dying in 25 seconds in the basement or wandering around wondering what the fuck I did as the cook. Well, that middle game as Anna was actually pretty fun. Like I was like sleuthing through the grass, and then I remember I turned around and there was the hitchhiker and he was just staring at me, and I was like, oh shit, like there were cool moments that I saw a glint of that I was like, oh, this is really it reminds me a lot of Friday the 13th, a lot, in terms of those little moments, but yeah, so I saw the potential, and I'm very eager to play the full game.
Yeah,
and when it has progression, and when Sissy's playable, not by a hacker.
Yeah.
Generally, I think the game's fantastic. There's things that I want them to just adjust a little bit, and then I think it will be better.
Mm.
So I will confess to you guys, if you've noticed, I've been kind of pulling up my browser over and over again because they're still sending out Texas Chainsaw keys like within the last couple hours.
Oh yeah, now they're going to be pushing it for its limits. They're going to want everybody to play it because it's only for a few more hours, and
I'm hopeful. I'm hopeful that
was it tomorrow?
It's supposed to end tonight at midnight, Sunday night at midnight.
Oh, it is?
I'm hopeful that they might extend the test because it's going so well and they're getting so much good data. So I'm like crossing my fingers.
They might just because they want. Ideally, you kind of want your servers to struggle.
Yeah.
Because then the limits.
I'm hoping that's why they're still sending keys out, is because they want to extend the test. Like that, I'm just crossing every finger and toe that I have that's what they do, because I would love more time with the game.
I would actually kind of like to play more of it myself. Especially, I like the new map. The new map.
Can we try to snipe each other? Oh, I didn't get the new map either. I got the Family House 3 times in a row.
Family House is cool, but I prefer the new map.
Okay.
I like Hitchhiker, like setting traps on that one.
Mm.
I think the new map requires a lot more teamwork to do well as family, which is probably not a bad thing, but it's not as easy to play when your teammates are not doing much. And yeah, from a victim perspective, it feels a little easier for me to get out on the new map than it did on the house for sure.
Yeah, I do agree. Because like it's quite a long way to go protect the gens a bit more.
Yeah. And they're also in like weird spots. Like it takes a lot of work to get to the top side objectives if you're hitchhiker. Like, and again, it's probably if I played the map 100 times like I did the last map, I'd probably be better, more comfortable on it. But
I don't mind if we're talking about this with DBD. I don't mind if some maps are better for one side and worse for the other side. I don't mind that as long as it's like fun. And for the most part, Texas Chainsaw has fun moments.
Mm-hmm.
There's just few too many moments where I'm like, I'm just kind of waiting for the fun moment to come back.
Yeah, I mean, like Doug said earlier, this is probably like way further back in the development process, right? This build that we're
it'll be the full version will be far more refined. There's no doubt.
Yeah. So, and I had to keep telling myself that when I was playing.
Me too.
One mistake that I made too was when I turned off voice chat. Originally I didn't see the apply button, and so I turned off voice chat, and this guy was just like monologuing in the lobby, and I was like, ugh. And so I turned down the voice volume all the way too, and then I mistakenly thought that was for voice chat, but it's for the characters in game. And so I played through the first 2 rounds with no voice chat at all.
Shit.
Like the characters weren't talking, and I was like, why the fuck is it so quiet? This is there's no atmosphere.
That sounds creepy.
That's like one of the best parts is the atmosphere. Yeah. It's something they've really put a lot of care into. So that's unfortunate.
I will say it's very atmospheric, and I think it's got a better atmosphere than Friday the 13th by a fair margin for me.
Yeah.
Like I've had a lot more fun playing this than I have Friday the 13th. Like I know that there's similarities, and I see the weaknesses from my perspective also. But I also see the potential for it to be far better than Friday the 13th.
Yeah. And I would say, and I'm not arguing with you and I'm not disagreeing with you, I would say that Friday the 13th really only got like 3 months to be a game before it shut down.
That is true. That is true.
Anymore. And it's like, if you looked at DBD 3 months into DBD and where they're at now, it's like totally different games, right? So like,
that's fair.
I think, and a lot of the stuff that they've like leaked after the fact about what the vision was in Friday the 13th is like very encouraging for Texas Chainsaw, because they had huge plans for F13 before they lost that license. And I mean, and the bare bones 3 months in version of F13 still has a regular daily player base. Many, and again, that's probably a lot to do with the license and just comfort. But I mean, I'm just really excited about this game and like the future.
I think what Friday the 13th for me a lot is everyone always telling me how good it was, and then I played and I was like, I don't see why it's good. It got hyped up, and I was like, I need.
It makes
because it's fun, Gary.
It makes sense. It makes sense that everybody told Gary it was fun, so he didn't like it. That just kind of tracks. He hasn't even done the reverse on me yet. Like, you haven't reversed me one time this podcast. I'm actually disappointed.
Everyone in the comments section will be pointing out that you love every fucking ASIM game. It doesn't matter what it is. VHS. Like, if you played Resident Evil Resistance, you'd be like, I think they could bring this back. Like, you just love them all.
I can fix her, Gary.
Like, you were playing last year the other day. Again.
It was fun. I had a good time.
Sure it was.
Bro.
Last year's really fun.
Oh, what do you know? Gary.
Last year is unpopular, and I still hate it. There you go. There's my counter.
Gary and hating an ASIM after playing 3 rounds. Name a more iconic duo in the world.
So which one of you two has the sunshine emotes again?
Has a what?
Which one of you two has the sunshine emotes again?
No, that would be me.
Oh, interesting.
Ironic. Kind of like my snail emote for a running man. It just tracks, right? Just do the opposite.
I'm smiley. I'm just critical. And John, I just want to look back to one of the comment sections from one of our lovely best seasons. I forget which season, but one of our better ones. Where someone described me as, I'm like you, John, if you had never discovered cynicism or sarcasm.
I thought that was like a very interesting comment. Yeah,
because I think I'm the most cynical of this podcast.
I can't think of a more inaccurate take on Gary.
Sarcasm wise, I think we're all on par with each other. We're all pretty sarky.
We're all yeah.
But cynicism wise, I think I'm the worst. I'm also the most smiley though. But balanced out.
You smile during your cynicism, so I guess that person was just like, it must not be cynical. I don't know.
But it can't be sarcasm.
You smile so big while ruining everyone's fun, Gary.
I'm not ruining anyone's fun. I'm trying to improve people's fun.
Yeah.
I've got another thing about the voice thing, just as a small tidbit that crossed my mind, was just because it is different if you, in America, you all speak American. Europe's a bit different.
We speak American, Gary? Is that really?
American.
Really?
He's not going to call it English, Doug. See?
America invented English, I feel like.
I think so too, yeah.
Yeah.
But my point is, Europe has a very diverse language. So, like, sometimes it's not always easy to just have voice comms. There needs to be other options.
Well, maybe our games are not for you, Gary.
I mean, in the American region, we're still going to get, like, French Canadians. We're going to get Spanish speakers.
Yeah, there's so many Spanish speakers in the United States, Gary. Wow, okay.
Yeah,
no, right? There's variety.
Like Europe's the only diverse place in the world. That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
Do I know? I can barely speak English, so what are you saying? Maybe...
You mean American?
Yeah.
But yeah, so like I would like to see some changes, but generally I like it.
Yeah, hopefully when the other 80% of the game comes out, it'll be better. Yeah.
I kind of wish that this was like a closed. Sorry, go ahead.
No, just Doug decided to go. Well, the game will definitely be good when it's fully released. Don't worry about changing anything. Don't complain about anything, because I'm sure when it comes out, it'll be good. I don't know why you don't like the new map in DBD. Like, when it comes out fully, I'm sure it'll be great. Don't have criticism for anything that's not fully out yet. What a ludicrous idea.
It feels like using a map in DBD gives me a whole lot of context. Like, there's a lot more to a map in DBD. Like, what I've seen from the maps in DBD tells me that the future is not bright. What I've seen from the technical test tells me the future is bright.
So you're assuming. Okay, I see.
I would just say, I think my number one takeaway is I wish this wasn't a technical test. I wish it was a closed beta. And I think that's more in line with what I was expecting, which I realize part of that's on me because they were pretty clear in communicating beforehand that it was a technical test, right? But I wish it was a closed beta. Like, I wish there was progression that is going to be wiped later, but I wish we could like experiment with loadouts. We could have some progression just so we could get a little more feel of how the game is going to be.
I don't think they plan on doing anything like that. They haven't said anything about doing it, but I can imagine there being another test.
Yeah.
I can foresee that happening.
I can see that happening too, yeah.
Because a lot of my feelings of victory and defeat both feeling a little empty might be completely resolved when at the end it goes and gives me like a level up or something. Like I'll be like, oh, Pog. Sweet, that was awesome.
I got the serotonin, yeah.
Yeah.
No. We'll find out in August. Or before. We'll see.
Yeah. But generally, thumbs up.
Yeah. So, now that we've talked for 3 hours about Dead by Daylight and Texas Chainsaw Massacre, is there anything else that we wanted to say before we
Outlast Trials? No.
I think we should talk about Outlast Trials next week, I think. I do want to talk about it, because I think we've all played it, and we all have our opinions on it, and it's still going to be relevant in a week, I think, so I would love to talk about it.
Oh, definitely. Like, I'm still going to play more of it.
Yeah, same.
I fucking love it. I think it's great.
Yep. Agreed.
I think it's one of the best games to come out in recent history.
I haven't played the early access version, like the new version yet, but I did play the closed beta back in November, so I'll have to see. I'm sure it's very similar.
If you want to play one evening.
Yeah, I'd be down to let me know. I would love to join up.
Yeah, how many people can you have in a lobby? 4?
4.
4. Okay, nice.
We'll have a chat and we'll see if we can arrange it. Because I know you're away on Wednesday, Doug. So
yeah, I leave Wednesday and I start subathon tomorrow, so I might be busy up until then. But we'll see.
Oh shit, yeah.
Yeah.
Either when I get back or maybe sometime while I'm gone. But we can talk about that off.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, I'll be busy all day Wednesday anyway. So yeah, I guess sometime before then. Check it out.
John I'll probably Gary that we're busy all the time. Yeah. Sorry, Gary. What are you going to be up to?
No, I'm
Gary?
busy. I'm busy after this.
Nothing.
I'll probably like record like a first impressions video or something, or try to for YouTube. So I'll probably go solo for like a couple rounds, but then I'd be down to team up. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Cool.
All right.
All right. Well, bye.
See ya.
Really? Is that how we're ending it? No way.
No.
I was gonna say, bloody hell.
We gotta have the pomp and circumstance.
I will say that despite our disagreements about Texas Chainsaw, it was a very good conversation. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Actually, Doug, I think it made our friendship stronger.
Even better.
I think I love you more.
I couldn't possibly love you more, but if that was possible, I would after that conversation. True.
It's is this our best season yet?
Oh,
absolutely.
Definitely.
No.
3 hours of I've enjoyed every part of our conversation today. Like there's not even Doug being a cheeky fucker. But like we did great today. We went through all the anniversary event, well done DBD, and all the Texas Chainsaw stuff, well done Gun. Like it's all great.
And if you've listened to the podcast up to this point, you just got Gary telling you what you've listened to for the last 3 hours. Good job, Gary. Great outro welcome. Too.
People want you to reminder. And next week they have Outlast Trials to look forward to.
Yeah, that's right.
As well as potentially some Home Sweet Home online.
Oh my gosh.
It's going to be a big season. Season 31.
That's right.
The start of a new era.
Into the 30s now.
Oh, it's getting exciting.
Well, thank you everybody for tuning in to season 30, our best season yet of Spine Chill. We are especially thankful to our fans in Romania. Hugs and kisses.
No,
it's like a victory thing.
Yeah,
no.
Well done, champions. Well done. Signing off. I'm one of your co-hosts, John Wolfe. My other co-host, Gary the Hawk Cross, and 31-time recurring guest, Doug Running Man.
Goodbye. Goodbye.
Goodbye. I should start leaving like royalty. You know, a royal way.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Bye. Bye, guys.
Bye. See ya next week. Maybe. Bye.